Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor. Chapter 1. Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor. Author, Luyun Suiwe. Reborn to Naruto world should be a joyful thing for anime nerds, but goose, what kind of trouble is it to be reborn to the newly born Naruto Uzumaki? And he's still his naughty Naruto. To put it simply, a normal person transmigrated into Naruto Nyang, who was forcibly broken by the people of Konoha village into a black and deep fog betrayal. Tag, become Lily Naruto. Chapter 1 Rebirth of Hell Level, January 2nd. When night comes, the city is brightly lit. Zeta Zeta. Blurred neon lights flashing in front of the green belt. Bit hold. The bottle-pulsing woman looked around from time to time, as if she was waiting for someone, holding the bottle in both hands, rubbing it. The heels of her high-heeled shoes were lit with stone bricks and made a da-da sound. I took my phone out of my bag and looked at it. Time, right now. The hair was slightly long and messy, holding it in his mouth. When the man with the cigarette saw the woman in front of the green belt, he sucked it hard. Take a mouthful of cigarettes, squeeze out the remaining cigarette butts, and gently bounce, accurate bounce. In the trash can next to it. Hey! Beauty! The man came to the woman's side, looked at the pulsation in the woman's hand and showed a meaningful smile. The woman raised her hand blushing and patted the man's chest. The man steps back. Step, bad. He smiled and said softly, "Do you have time?" Yeah. The woman nodded shyly. The man skillfully embraced the woman's shoulders, and the two walked close to each other like a couple. Night-style hotel. The next day. A shrill, fearful scream from a woman broke the silence of the morning. A few minutes later, with the screeching siren, the police car pulled up. In front of the Yafenking Hotel, then, the body covered with white cloth was carried out from the hotel. The woman sitting in the police car, Pear Blossom, wept with rain, talking intermittently about what happened last night. I've said it all, don't let him eat so much, but he won't listen, woo. In the dark world, nothing seems to exist, but you can still feel oppression and squeezing. I may be the first in history. A man who ate too much Viagra and died. Don't people lose consciousness when they die? Could it be that I am in a state of soul now? I always felt something was wrong. Feeling the oppression around me, I struggled subconsciously, only to hear Japanese coming from far away but very close. What? Kushina. What's wrong? Minato, the child is kicking me. Really? An energetic child. Kushina gently stroked her swollen belly, looking at Namikaze Minato's face, showing the longing for becoming a mother and the hope in her belly child's motherly love. My mother. Kushina. Watergate? Even if I don't understand Japanese, I spend most of my spare time with the computer watching anime. I call myself an anime nerd, and I can barely understand a few sentences. Could it be? Is this the world of Naruto? I made an appointment with a canon and even traveled to Hokage. Become the protagonist. Kyubi looked at a baby who was waving his hands like a very excited baby, his ears were shaking, and his eyes were squinting. It's weird. Nine Tails looked at the baby in Kushina's womb, and the red chakra, as small as a hair, wrapped around the baby's arm and entered the baby's abdomen along the umbilical cord. It's not like it used to be. It's not moving, and suddenly it becomes more energetic. What's going on? Kyubi looked at that curled up in inquiry. A group of dead babies. I'm sorry. Why is Kyubi interested in me? I am an innocent and weak little Bainoi. If you have something to do, go to Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. Not with me. Mao relationship. The baby pretending to be dead thought so. Kyubi looked at it. After a while, I yawned lazily and hummed. Sound, stop looking at the baby pretending to be dead. What Kyubi didn't know was because of it. Silk chakra caused abnormal changes in the body of the unborn baby, and the reproductive organs that had already formed had undergone strange changes under the influence of the nine-tailed chakra. The chaos of the nine tails came with the labor of Kushina. Kushina, who is the main force of the nine-tailed man, was extremely vulnerable to the seal of the nine-tailed when he was about to give birth, and those who were willing to take aim at the opportunity. He stole the nine tails that was sealed on Kushina's body. The sweaty Kushina had serious dark circles on her face and lay weakly on the stone bed, looking at the newborn baby with a satisfied smile. Kushina, who was drawn away as a human pillar, would die immediately, but as a whirlpool. The exuberant vitality of the family's Kushina did not allow her to die immediately. Far away, a huge monster appeared, with red hair and nine tails. It was the nine-tailed demon fox that was sealed on Kushina before. The huge body, the slight shaking of the tail will lift it up. A gust of wind, hiding their feet is shaking the ground, and the ninjas of Konoha village face such monsters, theirs. All the means of attack are so weak, unable to cause any damage to the nine tails, and can only utter powerless curses, drinking hatred under the attack of the nine tails. Kushina. Namikaze Minato got rid of the entanglement of the masked man who claimed to be Madara Uchiha, and came to Kushina's side, looking at the weak Kushina's eyes full of distress, but now there is no more time for him and Kushina. Minato. Kushina took a deep breath. With a sigh, he raised his gradually unconscious hand and gently held the baby. She is our child. Watergate, name the child. Just call her Naruto. Namikaze Minato gently hugged Kushina, and gently stroked the rosy cheeks of the baby in Kushina's arms. Nice name. Joshin. Nai looked at the baby leaning against Minato and smiled. Although she had long been suspicious of Minato's talent for naming her, the name was unexpectedly good this time. Kushina. Minato couldn't bear to close his eyes, turned his head to look at Kyubi. We don't have much time left. Why? Does it have to be Naruto? She's just a baby, why should she be burdened? Hokage-sama, the nine tails have become more violent. Time is running out. Umbu wearing a mask appeared. I see. Naruto in Kushina's arms opened his eyes diligently, his azure blue eyes widened and opened. The eyes just saw that it was like a special film. Such a huge monster. This is the nine tails, so big. And many more. Now this situation means that the nine tails will be sealed on me. Holy shit. Naruto. Kushina looked at the baby in her arms with her eyes open, and called out softly, tears streaming down her cheeks onto Naruto's face. I'm sorry, Naruto, Mom can't grow up with you in the future. This is my mom, What is she crying about? I don't understand at all. But she is so sad. Raising her head to look at the weary woman with dark circles under her eyes, Naruto stretched out her little hand and babbled, trying to wipe away Kushina's tears. Suddenly, a blue light lit up on Kushina's hand, and she poured all the remaining vitality into Naruto's body through a secret technique. Naruto, forgive me. Kushina fell into Minato Namikaze's arms, lost her breath, and slipped down holding Naruto's arm. Wow Naruto, who has never cried since he was born, burst into tears, and this cry is unprecedentedly sad. Kushina. Namikaze Minato gently put down Kushina, who had lost her breath, and rushed to the battlefield with Naruto crying. Looking at the gradually enlarged nine tails, and looking at the hand reaching out to her stomach, Naruto couldn't help shouting. Wow Don't come near me. Chapter 2 The World in Naruto's Eyes, 1/2. Time flies, 3 years old. Naruto, who was determined to be independent, was placed in the apartment. In a room. Residents in the apartment chose to move out of the apartment after the protests were invalid. Sitting in the corner with his knees bent, Naruto looked out the window blankly, opened his mouth, and the words he wanted to say were transformed into words. Sigh. She has experienced the feeling of being watched for 3 years, and this feeling will continue. According to Namikaze Minato's will, Naruto should be well taken care of as a hero in the village and respected as an adult. However, the high-level villagers let the people in the village treat her as the incarnation of nine tails and let them curse. This is completely contrary to what Namikaze Minato thought. Naruto wanted to ask why Sandai broke his promise to Minato Namikaze, and imagined what happened to Naruto in the original work, and she could only show a sarcastic smile in her bed. She doesn't stop. The second time I heard the person who came to feed her cursing her in a low voice. If it wasn't for Umbu's staring, maybe she would have been choked to death by the rich milk of the wet nurse. Unable to accept the numbness at the beginning, Naruto slowly got up and walked out. As it was an anime of the early Blood King, she never thought that Naruto's childhood would be so miserable, and it didn't feel so profound when watching the anime. Maybe it was infected by that stupid, cute and Naruto, but she couldn't feel it at all. Konoha Village's malice towards Naruto. The treatment Naruto suffered was unbearable even for adults, but Naruto was still so cheerful. Shakem. Masochism. Naruto grinned. Sound, in. After staying in front of the store for only a few seconds, the store owner hurried over to drive him away. Go, leave quickly. You won't have any guests here. Naruto bowed his head and walked away quickly. Her keen hearing made her hear the boss's whisper. Damn monster, why don't you die? I really don't know why Hokage-sama wants this monster to live in the village. Monster. If you don't have my body to imprison this monster, how can you live peacefully, without me being a human pillar? Ha ha ha. How ridiculous. Naruto's face was expressionless, and his deep and empty blue eyes seemed to have them. C was sad and walked to the park where the children were playing. Seeing Naruto's arrival, their parents greeted the children to leave, for fear of getting bad luck with too much contact with Naruto. Looking at the fearful eyes of adults, Naruto sat on the swing with his white and tender feet dangling, his head bowed, and his blue eyes were clear. Instantly turned blood red. Nine-tailed chakra is on her body. Flashed by. A figure wearing a mask appeared on the branch, just seeing that. With white hair, Naruto recognized his identity. Hatake Kakashi, feel the nine-tailed chakra to confirm if I'm going to lose control. Konoha Village, Will of Fire, what a funny thing. Once it is confirmed that I have signs of losing control, I will be taken away and forcibly imprisoned. As long as the nine tails are around, Renjuli will change if he wants to. Naruto. Kakashi put down Intimacy Paradise and cautiously looked at Naruto, who was sitting on the swing with his head down and his feet swaying. His long messy golden hair was scattered behind his back, and his hands holding the rope could see Naruto's mood at the moment. It is not as calm as it seems, otherwise it would be impossible to unconsciously release the nine-tailed chakra. Let me be myself. A moment. Naruto raised his head, his eyes were red, and there was a corner of his eye. Tears that haven't fallen yet. You cry. It's long-winded. It's none of your business if I cry or not. Mind your own business. Naruto lowered his head and wiped his tears, stubbornly reluctant to show his weakness in front of Kakashi. As a student of Namikaze Minato, Kakashi, who knew what happened, had great affection and pity for Naruto. However, as Umbu, he was wearing a mask. From the moment it was engraved, it was destined to seal all emotions in a mask. Watch Naruto. After a while, Kakashi quietly left. Snapped. A small stone hit Naruto's forehead, and Kakashi, who was hiding in the dark, frowned as he looked at the three children approaching Naruto. Hey! Monster! This is our swing, not for you, the monster. Go away, monsters. That's it. Go away. Go away. Mouth. A monster, like. Stabbed Naruto's heart with a sharp knife. Who are you calling a monster? Naruto raised his head, blood flowing down the wound on his forehead, as if. The wound split her face in half, and the beard on her face exploded slightly. We're talking about you, monster. Get out of here. What? Naruto roared and rushed up to fight with the three children. Naruto knew clearly. The forbearance of the taste will only make them more excessive, it is better to vent their dissatisfaction. The four children huddled together, even when they were there. The disadvantage of playing three, Naruto is not afraid of them, every. Punch every. Their feet greeted them according to their faces and lifebloods, wishing they could be beaten into little eunuchs. This girl is too dark to start. Kakashi saw Naruto. Kicked the little boy's crotch, he couldn't bear it. Looked directly at the face covered with black lines. Teacher, your daughter and wife. Kind of sturdy. Fighting and fighting, the parents of the 3 children came and opened the fight. The group of 4 looked at their child's bruised nose, swollen face, and footprints in the crotch. With a miserable look, they who were so eager to love their son were instantly angry and courageous, and looked at Naruto with resentment. "You monster, if it wasn't for Hokage-sama who left you in the village, you would have died long ago," the child's father said angrily, heavily. He kicked Naruto's stomach. Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor. Chapter 2. Severe pain, stomach here. The feet seem to be screwed up, she cried out in pain. Voice. Someone kicked Naruto at the beginning. Feet. Those who hate Naruto and feel sorry for their children are naturally facing Naruto. Punching and kicking. See this. Mukakashi hurriedly rushed over with a teleportation technique, pressed the shoulder of the person who hit the hardest, and threw it behind him, and fell heavily to the ground. Seeing the sudden appearance of Umbu, they stopped the violence against Naruto. Yes, it was violence. Their actions had gone far beyond the scope of venting their anger for their own children, and they were punching and kicking Naruto who had no ability to fight back. Kakashi exuded a cold murderous aura, but the cold eyes did not. C looked at them emotionally, the whole person was like the unsheathed blade. Picking up Naruto who had lost consciousness, Kakashi's murderous aura was even stronger, and they fainted because they couldn't stand the murderous aura released by Kakashi. Tick, tick. The sound of water droplets ringing in his ears, Naruto slowly opened his eyes. This is a dark place, here is Naruto's inner world. In a place that I have seen countless times in the anime, Naruto sat up and watched the calm water under her body ripple like a mirror. She got up and walked forward. At the end, she saw a huge prison door. The prison door is stuck in the center. Sheet of paper. Eyes with sharp red pupils stared at Naruto angrily. You are Nine Tails. Approaching the prison door, Naruto saw the huge body of the Nine Tails in the cage. The huge claws stretched out from the prison door and slapped Naruto. Naruto looked at the slapped claws while hiding in place. There was no timidity in his eyes, but a look on his face. The color of silk relief. Maybe after I die like this, I can return to my original body. Even if I can't go back, I don't want to continue to suffer. It's really tiring to live. The claws stopped when they were about to shoot Naruto, and the Nine Tails looked at Naruto who seemed to be begging for death, withdrew the claws and cut it. After the sound, he lay on the ground too lazy to talk to Naruto. Chapter 3 Eat Me, Nine Tails, 1/2. Why didn't you kill me? Naruto approached the cell door and felt the cold cell door. You can commit suicide if you want to die, but I don't want to kill you. A stinky brat who wants to die. Kyubi opened his closed eyes. Thin Slit looked at Naruto. Oh. Naruto laughed at himself. Laughing, he slapped the door hard. Do you think Konoha's people will let me, an important person, Julie die? Naruto got in through the gap in the cell door, came to Kyubi, opened his hands, and his azure eyes were full of anticipation. Nine Tails, eat me. Then you will be free too. And I will be free too. Little devil. Kyubi opened his eyes wide and looked at the child who was not as big as his fingernails in front of him. Kyubi had to admit that Naruto's words made him very moved. This kid gives it. Kind of like no one else. Such a feeling, those azure blue eyes looked at it without any fear and fear. Then, I'm welcome. Kyubi opened his mouth. Biting down, the petite Naruto. Swallowing his mouth, Nine Tails, who thought Naruto would struggle, didn't feel any struggle, only death. Like calm. Pooh. Nine Tails spit out Naruto who was covered in its saliva. Naruto sat up and looked at the ripples on the water, raised his head and looked at Nine Tails questioningly. Why didn't you eat me? Little devil, you're too small and I'm afraid of getting stuck. Hurry back. Don't disturb my sleep. Jiwei looked at Naruto with his own saliva all over his body, inexplicably a little guilty in ears. Shaking, turning away from looking at Naruto who was bulging, he lay on the ground and closed his eyes. Asshole. Naruto, who was driven away by the nine tails, couldn't bear it anymore and became violent. When he came up, he rushed up and kicked Kyuubi's leg regardless. Feet, and then grabbed Joey's hair and climbed onto Joey's body. Lu ran to Joey's head, rubbing at Joey's ears. Stinky nine tails. I won't leave if you don't eat me. Hurry up and eat me. You are so annoying, kid. Nine tails growled angrily. Sound, it has never seen anyone rushing to be eaten. Joey shook his head, trying to throw Naruto off, but he never thought about it. Naruto hugged its ears tightly, smiling happily. Ha ha ha. It feels like riding a pirate ship. Nine tails are exerting force. Click. On the top of Joey's head, Naruto smiled happily, and her beautiful blue eyes smiled into two crescent moons. This was her first time in the world of Naruto. Laugh so happily. In the end, Naruto was kicked out of his inner world by the furious Nine Tails. Kakashi, who flipped through Intimacy Paradise, saw the smile on the face of the unconscious Naruto, and his eyes flashed. Silk is distressed. Did you dream of something beautiful? Naruto, who was kicked out of the inner world by the Nine Tails, woke up from the coma and found himself back at home. The injuries on his body were also treated, but there were still bursts of pain in his body. He dragged his aching body to the window, closed the curtains, and burned. Jug of water, soaked. Barrel instant ramen. Naruto sat in front of the table, watching the steam coming out of the gap in the barrel that was not pressed tightly. Naruto touched his abdomen, recalling what happened in his inner world. The corners of his mouth twitched. Wipe a happy smile. Break apart. Disposable chopsticks, eating ramen in big mouthfuls. Always eating ramen will make you malnourished. Kakashi's voice suddenly appeared, and there were a few more cartons of milk on the table. Cut, I don't need you to take care of me. Naruto said stubbornly, eating ramen and opening it. The carton of milk gulped and drank. Kakashi, you care about that nine-tailed kid. Other Umbu were puzzled after seeing Kakashi's actions. Before, did you watch Naruto being bullied like that? Kakashi lowered his head slightly, his eyes swept across their masked faces. We are here to protect her safety. As long as her life is not in danger, there is no need to stop her. Besides, this is also a way to detect the danger level of her as a human pillar. If she is treated like this and goes berserk, it will be difficult for Hokage-sama to let her continue. Live in the village. Is that so? Kakashi sensed the blunt malice in their words. Are you venting your weakness in the face of the Nine Tails to the child? Kakashi narrowed his eyes and didn't continue to speak. He used the teleportation technique to leave. The next day, Naruto again. This time, I came to the place where the Nine Tails were in the inner world. Day 3. Day 4. Every day Naruto would look for Nine Tails. No matter how bad his attitude was, Naruto would pester Nine Tails, talk and chat with Nine Tails, until Nine Tails got impatient and drove Naruto away. After getting along with Naruto for a long time, Joey can perceive Naruto's loneliness and loneliness. Even if he doesn't admit it, his attitude towards Naruto has eased a lot, and it is not as bad as before. Sorry. On the way to the store to buy food, Naruto accidentally bumped into it. Naruto bowed his head and said, bypassing the Chunin and walking forward, the disgusting words coming from behind made her clench her fists tightly. It's really unlucky to be hit by this monster just after doing a mission. I really don't understand why Hokage-sama let her walk freely in the village. In the store, Naruto worked hard to put the purchased items on the counter, took out the crumpled money and prepared to pay the cashier. When he saw that the person who paid was Naruto, his attitude suddenly came. The 180-degree turn is in stark contrast to the previous attitude towards other guests. Carry. With a big bag, Naruto walked the way home. In order not to encounter too many people, Naruto chose to go. Taking a shortcut, walking in a narrow alley, Naruto saw 3 boys surrounded. A girl, that girl has pair of distinctive white eyes, and the 3 boys pointed around her precisely because the girl had such eyes. Hinata. Isn't this plot the first encounter between Naruto and Hinata in the original novel? I didn't expect to encounter such a thing when I wanted to take a shortcut. To or not to? Hinata is Hinata. People from the clan, I don't believe that no one is following me. I just watched Hina being bullied. Could it be that they were separated from the family? Thinking of what happened recently, it should be that Niji's father went to die for the twin brothers of the Zong family. Really big lady. Naruto shrugged and continued walking, looking at the three boys who were blocking the way. Hey, you are blocking my way. Huh? Why should we make way for you? As soon as the boy said that, his companion pulled his arm. My mother told me, don't go near Naruto Uzumaki, she is the incarnation of Nine Tails. A monster. Even if he deliberately whispered, the boy's words were clearly passed into Naruto's ears. Put down the things in your hand, and Naruto goes up. Punched the talkative boy in the face. A tooth flew out of his mouth, turned and raised his hand to hit the other. A boy's chin, twisting his body. The kick knocked the unresponsive boy to the ground. Go away. The three boys looked at Naruto in fear, and left, supporting each other. Naruto turned to look at his hands on his chest. Hinata with a frightened face. If you don't want to be bullied, then try to be stronger. Said, Naruto clapped the dust on his hands that didn't exist, as if he had hit something dirty, picked up what was on the ground, and left. Hinata stared blankly at Naruto's back, and her young face turned red. That has. The girl with long blonde hair and messy head left a deep memory for Hinata, which will be unforgettable for a long time. Chapter 4 Nine Tails Feel a Stomachache, 1/2. Walking out of the alley, Naruto saw it. Boys sit in another. On the neck of a boy, he happily pointed to a shop selling meatballs. Brother, I want to eat meatballs. Okay, Sasuke will buy you whatever you want, brother. Oh brother control. Hee hee. Brother control. Naruto watched coldly as the Uchiha Twanfan brothers walked towards the ball store, and she noticed that Uchiha Itachi already had a forehead guard on his head. It turns out that Uchiha Itachi had no nasolabial lines on his face when he was a child. Seemingly aware of Naruto's gaze, Uchiha Urtsuzi turned to look at Naruto who was looking at him and Uchiha Itachi. I don't know what Sasuke Uchiha was thinking, but he made a face at Naruto and stuck his tongue out funny. This kid. The corners of his mouth trembled, and Naruto was speechless by the sudden outburst of this lively and cheerful Urtsuzi. Back home, put all the things I bought in the refrigerator, and lay on the bed. Naruto skillfully came to the inner world, found where the Nine Tails were, and squinted on the body of the Nine Tails. Nine Tails hummed in dissatisfaction. The sound did not drive Naruto away. Little devil, it's almost enough for you. Nine Tails suddenly said. Huh? What do you mean? Naruto rubbed on Joei's body, slid off Joei's body, ran in front of Joei, and looked up at Joei's eyes. I said, you should know, because I am in your body and you are treated like this, don't always come to me, brat. Nine Tails propped up her chin and looked at Naruto impatiently. It has nothing to do with you, Nine Tails. After the disaster, they just want to find someone who can be resentful. You want me to be obedient, and you don't treat me well, Will of Fire is just a joke. Naruto looked up at the immature face of the Nine Tails with a sarcastic smile. Do you mean that Konoha deliberately made you the target of the villagers' resentment? Nine Tails looked at Naruto with interest. Yes, in order to stabilize people's hearts, what they need is not to imprison the hero's son of the nine-tailed body with their own bodies, but a so-called nine-tailed incarnation monster to make people resentful. Kyuei, in a few years, when I have the ability to leave Konoha, I will let you free. Naruto's immature face was full of confidence, and he stretched out a small hand that was clenched into a fist. Ha ha ha. You're still the first. The one who said he wanted to give me freedom, let me wait and see. Naruto. Nine Tails froze for a moment, laughed, and stretched out. A finger touched Naruto's small fist, and the red chakra was like a ripple. Spread out. What is this? Naruto could feel more inside his body. There is no chakra in her body who has never refined chakra, so this chakra can only be Nine Tails. Why? I don't want you to die before you fulfill your promise to me. Live hard and become stronger. Then fulfill your promise. Nine Tails smiled, showing sharp teeth. Looking at Kyuubi's hideous smile, Naruto didn't feel any fear. Instead, she felt a kind of warmth from the bottom of her heart. Her cold heart, which had been hurt by Konoha long ago, became warmer. Well, I won't die easily. If I want to die, I will be eaten by you. Naruto nodded solemnly and smiled brightly, as if a ray of sunlight illuminates this cold and damp place. In a place that was cold and damp like an underground waterway, this was where Quo was. The 5-year-old Naruto has grown a lot taller, but the messy blonde hair has not changed much, and the big blue eyes are so deep that it is impossible to see what she is thinking. Naruto was lying on Joey's head, rolling around boredly. The corners of Joey's mouth moved, and his expression was quite helpless. Naruto narrowed his eyes lazily and patted Kyuubi's head. Nine Tails, do you know how to refine chakra? Prematurely refining chakra at your current age is not good for your body. As a tailed beast who doesn't know how many years he has lived, he naturally knows the way humans extract chakra, but Nine Tails doesn't want to tell Naruto, because Naruto is now a malnourished body, if not for a whirlpool. Supported by the blood of the clan, Naruto has long been admitted to the hospital due to malnutrition. I really want to grow up quickly. Naruto lowered his head, his blue eyes instantly turned blood red and his pupils stood up. I can't help but want to kill those ignorant idiots. It's obviously my idiot. Father protected them with my body. How could they treat me like this? I've been working hard. I've worked hard. I suppressed my urge to kill them. The red chakra was like a coat. In this way, it poured out of Naruto's body, wrapping her. Suddenly, Nine Tails' tail suddenly wrapped around Naruto's body, all the red chakra gushing out from Naruto's body was absorbed, and after Naruto's blood-red eyes returned to normal, he lay on Nine Tails' head panting heavily. Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor Chapter 3. Sorry Nine Tails. I lost control. Nine Tails are like an old mother. He said to Naruto earnestly, you have become irritable under the influence of my chakra, Naruto, you have to control your emotions. That's easy to control. Naruto spread his hands and slid down from the face of the Nine Tails and landed smoothly. I don't know how to refine chakra, and now only your chakra exists in my body, which leads me to it's more difficult to control your emotions. I will try my best to control my emotions, the big deal is to tear up that broken seal and let you go out. Naruto touched his chin and said, as if he had such a plan, not a joke. I think about it, with my current body, I can't withstand your power, Nine Tails, which means that I will become a humanoid nuclear bomb. Boom! Naruto raised his hands and said happily, if I do that, Konoha will be destroyed by me. Do that, and you'll die too. Stupid. Nine Tails. Looking at the fascinated and happy Naruto with a stomachache, he couldn't help but flick Naruto's forehead, and the result was like Naruto. Bouncy ball. He bounced around in this cell like this, and finally lay on the ground with his eyes rolling in circles. Naruto. Are you okay? Kyuubi stretched out his fingers, and his sharp nails tapped Naruto's abdomen through his clothes. Ha ha ha. It's so itchy. Naruto covered his stomach and let out a laugh, shook his dizzy head and sat up, puffing out his cheeks and looking at the Nine Tails angrily. Nine Tails are too much. I'm ignoring you. Said, Naruto left without giving Nine Tails a chance to react, and stayed. Nine Tails with a stomachache. Naruto. Naruto. He looked like a dead pig sleeping. Such a Naruto, Kakashi, who had already withdrawn from Umbu, touched the mask on his face and resisted the urge to splash Naruto with water. Ugh. Naruto sat up in a daze, opened his sleepy eyes, and looked at Shirogane Mei Umbu Kakashi in front of him. What's up? This is your admission procedure. From tomorrow you are going to study at the ninja school. Kakashi said, took out the completed procedures and put it on the table. Ha! Naruto showed a mocking smile, is it really okay to let me, this monster, go to the ninja school? That's what Hokage-sama meant. 3 generations of grandfathers. I know. Naruto has been in contact with the 3 generations of Hokage. If he hadn't seen the deep regret hidden in the eyes of the 3 generations, Naruto would have resented the 3 generations very much. Even if the 3 generations were a good old man in the original work, it would not change him. Door agreement. Naruto is not a fool, only by climbing the thick thigh of the 3rd generation can he avoid being disturbed by Danzo, at least not be caught and brainwashed, and become an obedient person. Julie. The next day, when I came to the ninja school, because it was an order from Hokage, even if they were malicious towards Naruto, those adults who brought their children to the ninja school were not able to show their malice towards Naruto directly. The class that Naruto was assigned to, without any accident, was the class taught by Iruka. "I'm Uzumaki Naruto, please give me some advice." After Naruto briefly introduced himself, he looked at Iruka. "Teacher, where do I sit?" "Ah, well, sit next to Sasuke." Iruka didn't expect Naruto's self-introduction to be so brief, and after a brief moment of stunned, Naruto was seated next to Uchiha Sasuke. According to men and women. There's nothing wrong with Iruka's allocation of tables, but it's a little different from what Naruto had in mind. Naruto nodded and walked over, muttering in his heart, Naruto should be the follower in the original work. A dragon suit sits. Get up. How come it's like 2 pillars to me? Got a table? It doesn't matter who you sit with. Tables are all. Sample. I have to hurry up and learn how to refine chakra so that I don't get emotional. Hello. Naruto greeted Sasuke. Uchiha sat in his seat and stopped talking, watching other students introduce themselves, and didn't pay too much attention to the young master of Uchiha's family. Chapter 5. Each has a ghost, 1/2. Uzumaki Naruto. Hinata watched Naruto secretly, her young face flushed slightly. Sai. After Iruka was assigned the seats, clapping interrupted the chatter of the children. Okay. Be quiet, classmates. Today, as your first class, I will teach you the most basic and most important things about ninjas. That's chakra. Iruka wrote a few large characters on the blackboard with chalk, and patted the blackboard lightly, attracting the eyes of all the children to him. Chakra. Naruto watched and listened to Iruka's lecture attentively, and wrote down all the knowledge about chakra. During recess, Naruto frowned slightly and studied how to extract chakra. Hey! Uchiha, who was ignored by Naruto for a long time, patted the table in dissatisfaction, interrupting Naruto's train of thought. What's up? Naruto squinted his eyes and looked at the second pillar who had not experienced the extermination of the family. Anyway, we are at the same table, can you not ignore me? Sasuke. Uchiha glared at Naruto with dissatisfaction, with a look in his eyes. Silk grievances, like a spoiled child. Sorry, I don't think I can have anything to say with you. Besides, haven't you heard your parents say it? What? Do not come near me. What? Before Sasuke Uchiha could react, he was pushed to the ground by Naruto. When the children around heard Sasuke's cry, they all looked over and saw Sasuke's small face. Approximately equal to the image of red, gritted his teeth angrily, tried his best to pretend that nothing had happened, sat on the seat, couldn't let out the fire, his face flushed red. Tisk. Enough. Looking at the bulging Ertsuzi, Naruto clicked his mouth and closed his eyes not to look at Sasuke. Uzumaki Naruto. Iruka looked at Naruto at the door, with memories in his eyes, and time seemed to return to the Ninetales rebellion. That night, his parents were there. He died trying to stop the Ninetales. Hey! Iruka! What are you thinking? Ah! Mizuki! Don't scare me. Iruka's memory was interrupted by the passing Mizuki. Is that little girl the one who has the 9 tails sealed within her body? Mizuki looked at Naruto, who was lying on the table, squinting, and the corners of his mouth were exposed. Ribbon has a malicious smile. It is unfortunate that Naruto is very sensitive to maliciousness. When he opened his eyes, he saw Mizuki's malicious smile. Mizuki, the person who lured Naruto to steal the sealed book in the original book, actually had Naruto's skill in the original book. If he hadn't deliberately let him get it, it would have been impossible for him to steal the sealed book. I remembered that Naruto in the original book had repeatedly stated that he wanted to become Hokage, and was thinking of his own performance. A certain lousy old man who always used a crystal ball to peep into the bathroom, if she was given the Book of Seals, she would be demented, as a deterrent existence similar to a nuclear bomb. It's not bad to be able to train her as a normal ninja, isn't it? It seems that Naruto's multi-shadow avatar technique in the original book has no relationship with me. It doesn't matter, I just need to work hard to become strong enough to be able to leave Konoha smoothly, and the rest will be handed over to Nine Tails. It's just that during the time at the ninja school, it seems that there is no way to learn other ninjutsu except the 3 body art, and can only rely on the body art. If the original. In this way, I should be able to be assigned to Kakashi's 7th class. At that time, I can learn ninjutsu from Kakashi and then use Orochimaru to use Sand Ninja to attack Konoha, and escape from Konoha while the chaos. However, things may not be as smooth as I imagined, and we can only go. Step count. Step. Mizuki found Naruto through Iruka's absence. Teacher, is something wrong? Knowing that Mizuki is not a good thing, Naruto is not good at showing it. He looked at Mizuki suspiciously. Why don't you go and play with other people? Mizuki asked knowingly, with a concerned expression on his face. Naruto felt nauseated, and wanted to vomit him. Impulse of the face. It's enough to have 2 pillars at the same table, and it's enough that Shuemu bothers her after class. It's good for me to play by myself. Naruto's fragile face showed. Wipe the forced smile, the azure eyes slightly reddened. Good. A heartbreaking little loli. Mizuki thought that Naruto was really sad, pressed the maliciousness that rose in his heart, and pretended to be distressed to hold Naruto. Naruto's body had it. Instantly stiff, Mizuki showed a smug smile as Naruto had never been treated gently. How dare this hug me? Being held by Mizuki. In an instant, Naruto almost couldn't help it. The foot kicked towards Mizuki's next 3, and it was precisely because she resisted the urge to attack that her body was stunned. Instantly stiff, the result was misunderstood by Mizuki. Mizuki, who doesn't know his true face has long been known to Naruto, is still thinking about how to improve Naruto's favorability and make Naruto a good student who obeys his own words. Is this guy trying to take advantage of me? Maybe I can. Naruto's blue eyes slowly closed, lying on Mizuki's shoulders, deliberately showing a fragile expression in front of Mizuki. Mizuki mistakenly thought that he had opened Naruto's heart, stroked Naruto's hair, but he didn't know the sound at this moment. People are calculating in their hearts how to drain the value of Shuemu. After Mizuki left, Naruto held back the nausea in his heart, returned home after school, washed his hair 5 or 3 times and still felt sick, and even had the urge to cut his hair. In his inner world, Naruto angrily tugged at Joei's hair, and complained with red eyes, "That bastard, Mizuki, dares to hug me and touch my hair. I feel sick just thinking about it. Goosebumps all over my body." Woke up. Naruto rolled up the sleeves of his pajamas to show Kyubi the goosebumps on his arms. Kyubi tried his best to widen his eyes, but it was difficult to see the goosebumps that couldn't be smaller. He really thought his eyes were Hyuga Clan's white eyes. Seeing Nine Tails' eyes wide open, Naruto couldn't help laughing while covering his stomach. Nine Tails realized that she was being played by Naruto, and rolled her eyes angrily. The foot kicked Naruto out. Humph. I really don't have a temper when an old mother. Did you just kick Naruto out? After a while, Naruto ran in again and excitedly said to the Nine Tails, "Nine Tails. Nine Tails. I learned the transformation technique. Look at me changing something to show you." Said, Naruto not seal, bang. The smoke dissipated, and Naruto became the golden-haired nine-tailed fox, which has only shrunk countless times and is only the size of a child, flutters its nine-tailed head proudly. How? Is it like you? Like? Kyubi looked helplessly at Naruto with a begging expression on his face. Shouldn't you show this expression to your teacher? Why show it to me? I'm just a tailed beast, that's all. Yeah. It's amazing. Great reading. Nine Tails flicked Naruto's forehead, the smoke cleared and Naruto was beaten back to his original shape, lying on the ground with his forehead covered, looking at Nine Tails resentfully. "Can't you just take it easy? I'm already very light." Nine Tails looked at Naruto with a stomachache. "It's nothing, just go back, I'm going to bed." Nine Tails yawned, a little impatient. The mere transformation technique also ran in front of it to show off. Do you think it has lived so many years in vain? Chapter 6 Naruto's Conjecture, 1/2. Male sign regarding the transformation. Naruto's intuitive feeling after learning transformation is that this is the most defying ninjutsu in the basic ninjutsu. In theory, as long as the imagination is enough, it can be ever-changing, but it will transform after being attacked. The surgery will be lifted, if you can make the transformation surgery. Saisai continues, can we all become other people? This idea, Naruto feels that the second-generation Hokage who created the transformation technique has not thought about it, right? Otherwise, with the genius mind of the second Hokage who can create the reincarnation of the dirty earth. It should not be difficult to improve this ninjutsu, but in that case, the transformation technique will not be the basic ninjutsu, but will become a forbidden technique. In addition to being able to see the inner white eye and the writing will eye, it is really terrible to sneak in and be a spy with the transformation technique. Transform. The smoke cleared, Naruto's figure disappeared, and more appeared on the floor. A little ant looked around. A few seconds later, Naruto lifted the ninjutsu and sat on the ground, thinking about how to apply the transformation technique to actual combat. In the original book, the shuriken or something can be used for reference, but it feels a bit stupid. Not everything becomes that kind of thing inside, even if it becomes a weapon, it is still human in nature. If you turn into a shuriken and get hit, you will definitely be injured. If you are cut in half by a weapon, the shadow clone is good to say, if it is a body, wouldn't it be dead? As the most basic ninjutsu, the three-body technique is also the most useful ninjutsu. Whether it is a stand-in technique or a clone technique, it can play a vital role. If used well, it can even kill an enemy stronger than oneself. It is impossible for the original Naruto to come into contact with the three-body technique so quickly. With the help of the good teacher Mizuki, Naruto came into contact with the three-body technique earlier than others. However, Naruto's purpose is not only the three-body technique, but also the three-body technique. What she wants to learn is Feng Dan, which fits her own chakra attributes. She also wanted to rub the balls, but she didn't dare to do it without anyone teaching her. Umbu was watching nearby. As long as she practiced rubbing the balls, it was estimated that she would be sitting in Genbu or Hokage's office the next day. Inadvertent words will be dealt with. Mizuki taught her ninjutsu, and it can be considered that Mizuki has a good relationship with her and will not be suspected. If she practiced by herself, it will become a big problem. Maybe she will be regarded as a group of persecuting paranoiacs, and the Nine Tails invaded her body and the like. Ugh. Naruto lay on the bed and sighed, thinking about how to trick Mizuki tomorrow to get her wind escape ninjutsu. With so many tricks played by a ball rolling, she still didn't believe that she couldn't do some ninjutsu of her own. School building talk. Last night, when I was passing by the lake, I saw Sasuke spitting fireballs. It's really amazing. Teacher Mizuki, I also want to learn ninjutsu. Well. Shuemu nodded, with a gentle smile on his face, secretly said in his heart. Sound trouble, take it out from the pocket of the vest. Zhang chakra test paper, and said expectantly, Naruto, you inject chakra into the paper, so that you can measure your chakra attributes. Although he knew his chakra attributes for a long time, Naruto deliberately pretended. Vice looking forward to it, took the chakra test paper and injected it with chakra. Tear. The chakra test paper cracked. This little girl's chakra attribute is the wind attribute, which is really a rare attribute. The life of this nine-tailed girl is really good. Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor. Chapter 4. Mizuki's eyes flashed. She was jealous and said with a smile, Naruto, your chakra attribute is wind. I don't know the details of the teacher, but... Naruto, you can learn wind escape ninjutsu, but the teacher can't get wind escape. Wind escape ninjutsu? That Mizuki teacher, can you teach me wind escape ninjutsu? Naruto's beautiful big blue eyes looked at Mizuki expectantly, as if he was wearing a sparkling little boy. Star. Unfortunately, the teacher's chakra attribute is not wind, so he can't teach you how to escape. Shuemu smiled wryly and spread his hands. That's something I can't do. Naruto lowered his head in disappointment, and said with uncontrollable disappointment in his voice, I'm sorry, I said something that embarrassed Mr. Mizuki. It fully expressed that Naruto wanted to learn wind escape ninjutsu, but did not want to embarrass Mizuki teacher, and finally had to give up learning wind escape ninjutsu. That guy Mizuki is really useless, he can't even get wind escape ninjutsu. It's still a chunin. It's so weak. Naruto rolled on the head of the nine tails, pretend to be in front of that guy. My goodness, I can't even pretend anymore, I feel like I want to vomit when I see Shuemu's hypocritical face now. But it's not bad to be able to learn the three-body technique from that guy. Foam Dun can only talk about it later. Naruto said, bang. Sound, the smoke dissipated and became. A green-haired beauty was lying on the body of the nine tails like a slide. It slipped. Nine Tails looked at the green-haired woman and asked curiously, who have you become? C.C. The green-haired beauty posed a scissors hands pose to Kyubi, the bang, smoke dissipated, and Naruto became you again. The female version of Lelouch with flowing black hair. Kyubi looked at Naruto moving around in boredom, and asked boredly, what's the point of doing this? Naruto lifted the transformation technique, scratched his head, and replied seriously, it doesn't make sense. I just didn't dare to change outside, so I ran in front of you. It's enough time to change. It's so troublesome that Umbu often follows you. Fortunately, they didn't follow up in the toilet. Otherwise, I couldn't help tearing up the broken paper charm and followed they perished together. A few days later, Mizuki got the Wind Tunnel Ninjutsu scroll from nowhere, although it was only the lowest level Wind Tunnel Ninjutsu, but the lowest level Wind Tunnel Ninjutsu was also a sea-level ninjutsu that only Chunin could master. He secretly handed Naruto the ninjutsu scroll that recorded Foam Dun and Gale Palm. Mizuki patted Naruto on the shoulder and looked at Naruto excitedly staring at the scroll in his hand. This ninjutsu can only be mastered by Chunin. Your current chakra should not be enough to use this ninjutsu. Just practice and practice, don't try it. What is the mind of a child? The more you don't try, the more you will rebound. Mizuki understands this truth deeply. He deliberately told Naruto that, in order to let Naruto deliberately use this ninjutsu. Well, I see. Thank you Mizuki teacher. Excited, Naruto took the initiative to hug Mizuki. This is really an unexpected joy. Naruto has already given up, and he did not expect that the willows will be bright again. Village. Mizuki actually gave her a wind escape ninjutsu. Even the lowest level Foam Dun is a ninjutsu that includes changes in chakra attributes. After learning it, she can try to develop her own ninjutsu. If it is found that she has the intention of defecting, she can also use the nine-tailed chakra to use the powerful wind escape to escape from Konoha. However, if Hokage or something comes to catch her, it's still hard to escape. Danzo doesn't have the arm full of shackles, but he shouldn't have that arm now, nor the eyes of Uchiha Shisui. The BUG level pupil technique of Bietian is really annoying. If it can work on the tail beast, it will be terrifying. Kyubi should be fine. Naruto thought of this and was a little worried about Nine Tails. In the inner world, Nine Tails can naturally perceive Naruto's emotions, and with Naruto's trust, it can even vaguely sense Naruto's thoughts. This girl. Kyubi, who was lying on his stomach, got up and looked at the wall above, as if he could see Naruto's worried expression at the moment, and unconsciously showed a smile, which seemed hideous but made people feel silk-warm. Chapter 7 I'm cute, hold me, repair, 1/2. Kyubi. I feel like I can't go on like this. Naruto pinched his waist and looked up at Joe with a serious face. Divided by. What's wrong? What are you worried about? Nine Tails raised her eyebrows, opened her eyes and looked at the little adult in front of her. Such a Naruto. I'm worried that you will be controlled by another day, so if I want to see Uchiha Shisui, it's definitely not acceptable to go to him directly. He won't believe what I say. Sitting on Kyubi's paws, Naruto scratched his head, and his long messy hair made her do this. Scratching is no different from a chicken coop. A bird said that she couldn't use her hair as a ready-made bird's nest to build a nest. Writing will I. Ninetales thought of using illusion to control his eyes a few years ago. Although it was only the eyes that were exposed outside the mask, those eyes were indeed shackles. The most important thing is, don't let the old dog of Danzo get Uchiha Shirsue's eyes, if he gets it, with my current performance. For the safety of Konoha, I have to eat other gods properly. Naruto tugged at Joei's hair frantically, and Joei's eyelids jumped in pain. Looking at Naruto who was so distressed, he couldn't say it, so he could only pretend that it didn't hurt and let Naruto pull his hair. Uchiha Itachi and Shirsue are friends. If you can get to know Uchiha Itachi, you may be able to get in touch with Shirsue, but how much can he trust me if I say it? 10,000. Words don't fit me. Wouldn't it mean that I lost my wife and lost my army? Danzo has 3 generations watching, unless the 3 generations of old men suddenly die suddenly, otherwise Danzo will not be able to shoot at me, which means that I am safe now, but as long as I expose it. Silk. Any thoughts that are not good for Konoha will lose the protection of 3 generations. There are accidents in everything, maybe the old Een and Danzo will let Umbu catch me, and then use the Biu of another day to attack me. There's no other way, then I can only resist desperately. The big deal is to turn into a humanoid nuclear bomb and fight with them. I won't make it easier for me, and I won't make it easier for them. Ninetales looked at Naruto and didn't know what to think. The blue eyes were about to turn blood red again, and the claws moved to interrupt Naruto who was caught in the whirlpool of thoughts. What are you thinking? Your eyes are turning red. I'm thinking about what might happen in the future. Naruto rubbed the paw of Ninetales with a headache. Don't think about tearing the seal at every turn, your current body can't bear my power. Ninetales looked at Naruto who was rubbing his paws with a stomachache. 3 old men. This kid always wants to kill himself, what should I do? In the forest. There was a clearing full of stones near the river, and Naruto sat on the stone and looked at the scroll that recorded the ninjutsu. Wind done gale palm. Naruto clasped his palms together, and the chakra-transformed wind was compressed and turned into a violent gale. Then, Naruto flew out backwards. Failed. Naruto lay on the ground. After a while, get up and continue practicing. In terms of power alone, the power of this foam done is not even worthy of the How Fireball technique. However, Gale Palm does not require seals, so it is extremely convenient to use, and Gale Palm not only blows away the approaching enemies, but also is used to match the ninja gear, to improve the flight speed, power, and destructive power of the ninja gear, and it can even increase user's speed. With Naruto's current chakra, the chakra consumed by Foam Dun and Gale Palm is not much for Naruto, and the main reason is that Gale Palm is not an aggressive wind escape, but an auxiliary ninjutsu that needs to be matched with ninja gear to exert its maximum power. Foam Dun Gale Palm, who taught this child? Seeing Naruto walking in the direction of the waterfall, Kakashi curiously followed Kakashi in the past to see Naruto practicing the wind escape desperately, every time. Every time he fails, he will be blown away by the strong wind that his chakra turns into, and then he will fall heavily to the ground. Again and again. Second, it hurts to see Kakashi as a viewer. Naruto, why is she working so hard? Those unyielding eyes, Kakashi always felt that he had seen it in someone. In order not to disturb Naruto's practice, Kakashi quietly left and watched. Where the dark part of the eye was, Kakashi frowned and left using the instant body technique. Kakashi. Let's decide. A green tights with watermelon rind on his head, no, keep the watermelon rind. The moment Meikai with the same hairstyle saw Kakashi, his whole body seemed to be bloody, and he came to Kakashi at the speed of a 100-meter sprint and took it up. Dust and gusts of wind. Kakashi knew what kind of regret he would feel if he refused the challenge of Meikai, and nodded and accepted the challenge of Meikai. Rock paper scissors. Rock paper scissors. Rock paper scissors. Damn. It turned out to be Boo. Kakashi down. I will definitely win you next time. As a punishment for failing the challenge, I will run around Konoha upside down. 100 laps. Ha 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 ha. Kakashi will see you later. Kakashi saw that walking upside down was no slower than running, and it was like the wind. Such a man, Mate Kai, couldn't help holding his forehead. Still. As always, so energetic. 3 nights later, the stars twinkling in the beautiful night sky, Naruto is still working hard. Practicing Foam Dun Gale Palm. Wind Dun Gale Palm. The violent wind blew the stones around Naruto. Yeah. It worked. Naruto jumped up happily, then sat down on the ground and rested. After a while, he got up and walked home unsteadily. This kid is very talented. The 3 generations who peeped at Naruto with a crystal ball were released. With a sigh, it took only 3 days to master Foam Dun Gale Palm. I can't say that Naruto's talent is particularly good, and I can't say that it's bad. Seeing Naruto's assiduous appearance after falling and getting up again, not afraid of hardship or tiredness, the 3 generations showed a gratified smile. Konoha's will of fire will be passed on, and Minato, your children will become great ninjas. I don't know what the 3 generations will think when they know that Naruto is planning to escape from Konoha, and will he be so angry that he has high blood pressure and heart disease? And died on the spot. I don't know if it was because I thought about Uchiha Shisui a few days ago, but it happened that Naruto encountered a heavy-faced Uchiha Shisui when he walked out of the forest. Naruto pointed at Uchiha Shisui's clothes with the fan logo and shouted deliberately. Voice. Ah. Is your surname Uchiha? Is something wrong? Uchiha Shisui stopped and looked at the blonde girl who suddenly called him, and saw the cat-like pattern on the sides of the girl's cheeks. Me and Sasuke Uchiha are at the same table. Oh. Uchiha Jisui's mind appeared in the Itachi family's little bean, and looked at Naruto with interest. Is this girl the one from the 9 Tails, Juri? What's the matter with her calling me? Speaking of that, doubting is quite popular. Could it be that she is the suitor of that little doubting? Just when Uchiha Shisui was thinking about what Naruto wanted to call her, Naruto sat softly on the ground, blinked pitifully, and stretched out his hands towards Uchiha Shisui. Because Sasuke and I are classmates, send me home. Please. I used up too much chakra in my practice before, and I have no energy to go home. Why didn't those Umbu people help her? Thinking that it was impossible for Naruto to discover the existence of Umbu with Naruto's current ability, Uchiha Shisui didn't think much, picked up Naruto and felt Naruto's light weight. Uchiha Shisui was stunned. It's so light. Hold it in your arms as if there is no weight. It's so scrawny that Naruto can even describe how Naruto feels to him, and one can imagine how he was treated as a 9-tailed man. Chapter 8 The Bold Plan, Revision, 1/2. Plan to pass. When she saw Uchiha Shisui, Naruto had already started to plan how to get along with Uchiha Shisui alone. She came to the conclusion that if she wanted to be alone with Uchiha Shisui, Uchiha Shisui's help was necessary. Using the illusion cast by the shaker to create the illusion of blinding the dark part. Sai. In order not to let Danzo get Shisui's eyes, but also to prevent Akatsuki from creating more. A tricky Suzaku, 9 Tails is one of the targets of Akatsuki's organization. What? She is not the original Naruto Uzumaki who can persuade Nagato with his mouth cannons. For this reason, Naruto thought. A bold and crazy plan. It's called Uchiha Security Plan. Use all available resources, even yourself. Naruto is now using his own advantages, although it is the 9-tailed person Julie, but the request of the little girl. Ordinary people would not refuse, and she said that she knew Sasuke and asked him to be Uchiha. The probability of being rejected by someone from the clan who helped send her home is very low. Is that all right? Uchiha stopped Naruto at the door of Naruto's house. In an instant, Naruto's murmur-like whisper sounded in his ears. Do you want to save Uchiha? Uchiha Shisui suddenly widened his eyes, and the movement of putting down Naruto stopped. Under the emotion, his eyes automatically turned into kaleidoscopes. Don't get excited, I need you to help me deceive those mice hidden in the dark, can you do it? Shisui, with you Uchiha. The proud riding will eye of the clan. Naruto smiled brightly and blinked his eyes, as if saying thanks to Uchiha Shisui. Ga! Ga! The crow flew in front of Umbu's eyes. They saw Uchiha Shisui put Naruto down and left. Naruto yawned drowsily and went back to the house, so tired that he lay on the bed and slept without changing his clothes. On. Uchiha Shisui followed Naruto into the house, quickly forming a seal. The enchantment enveloped the whole house, and the kaleidoscope riding wheel revealed killing intent. He grabbed Naruto's neck and lifted her up. Naruto grabbed his throat and lifted it up, feeling the suffocation, without struggling, tilting his head and smiling. The red tail formed by the nine-tailed chakra fluttered behind Naruto, hitting Uchi like a fist. The belly of the wave is still water. Boom! Uchiha Shisui flew backwards and hit the wall. Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor Chapter 5. Cough cough cough. Naruto covered her neck and coughed with a blushing face. Her body made a few tears flow from the corners of her eyes, and the tail formed by the nine-tailed chakra returned to her body. Uchiha Shisui, you are in a hurry. Naruto's red eyes carried. Silk looked gloomily at Uchiha Shisui. This is the nine tails. Uchiha Shisui's eyes widened, and through the shackles, he saw the vicious nine tails staring at him fiercely with his mouth open. Open. He seems to be saying something. Boy. If you dare to shoot at Naruto, I will kill you. Nine-tailed chakra, my kaleidoscope riding will didn't find it. Really, don't you want to hear what I have to say? Naruto didn't feel annoyed by the rough treatment by Uchiha Shisui. He walked slowly in front of Uchiha Shisui, squatted down and watched, stretched out into his eyes. Don't think about using illusions on me, if you still want your own eyes. When carrying out this plan, Naruto no longer cared about her own life. She was like a moth that was tormented and was about to go mad by flying around the lights. She could not wait to come with Konoha. A fish is dead and the net is broken. You can see that you are not a simple child. Uchiha Shisui leaned his back against the wall, and the pain in his abdomen made him frown slightly. Just now, the nine tails used all the strength. If they didn't want to destroy Naruto's plan, the nine tails had enough opportunities just now. Kill Uchiha Shisui in seconds. Uchiha. Is the clan planning a coup right now? How does she know? Could it be that the plan has been revealed? Or is she the only one who knows? How did she know? Uchiha in/out of a traitor? Now just use other words. Naruto pressed Uchiha Shisui's head and slammed into the wall heavily, his small knees pressed against Uchiha Shisui's chin. My last. This time I warn you, if you want to save Uchiha. Just listen to me obediently, and don't try to use other gods on me. Naruto's deep blue eyes were calm and irritable as he looked at Uchiha Shisui, but the smile on his face revealed a lot of malice, which made Uchiha Shisui shudder. Okay, then what can you do to save the current Uchiha? Uchiha Shisui closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, his eyes returned to normal eyes. The lizard has a broken tail and wants to blow itself up. Bah! That's the only way to protect yourself. The lizard docked its tail. Lizards cut off their tails in order to save their lives to seek an opportunity to escape. Uchiha. Is the tail to be cut off in the clan, the one to be abandoned? If I'm not wrong. Uchiha's relationship with Konoha now has reached an irreversible point. Even if Uchiha was entrusted by Konoha as a garrison, he left the center of Konoha's power, Uchiha. Are there many people in the clan who are dissatisfied with this? Uchiha Shisui nodded. You mean to give up those people? Give them to Konoha in exchange for Uchiha. Does the clan survive? No. The answer I gave is, leave Konoha, Uchiha. The clan is not short of strength and people, why not build it yourself? A ninja village? Defecting Konoha, wouldn't that be a traitor? Huh? Why defected to Konoha? Konoha was Uchiha when he built the village. Clan and Chisho. Clan. Since it was founded, why did he defect? Say. That's just leaving Konoha. Naruto's crooked head looks like a fool. looking at Uchiha Shirsue like this. Uchiha. The clan can be said to have done their best for Konoha, but now they are being neglected like this. Do you think it's fair? Naruto patted Uchiha Shirsue on the shoulder and whispered in his ear, do you think Danzo, if you know that Uchiha is going to launch a coup, what will he do? Danzo is. He is coveting Uchiha's riding wheel. Everyone is innocent and guilty. Just your Uchiha bloodline will bring you countless troubles, and the people in Konoha who covet you Uchiha's riding wheel eyes are not just Danzo. Think about it, you. Naruto said with a dry mouth, and opened the refrigerator to take it out. The carton of milk gulped and drank. The taste is a little off. Naruto watched. Production date, the milk fell to the ground and was sprinkled. Land. Uchiha Jishue looked at Naruto, who was lying on the toilet, with a black line on his face, and picked up the milk carton. Looking at the date, the corners of his mouth couldn't help shaking. Uchiha Shirsue squinted his eyes on the forehead guard that Naruto pointed at, thinking about what Naruto had said, and had it in his heart. A big doubt. Where did you know this? What you said is the secret of Konoha and Uchiha. Let others know that you know this information, and your life will be lost. It's a secret I won't tell you. Why do you want to help Uchiha? Do you really like Sasuke Uchiha? Uchiha Shirsue guessed. Pfft. Put your mother's fart. Naruto, who was rinsing his mouth, sprayed the water from his mouth onto the mirror, pointed at Uchiha Shirsue and couldn't help cursing. Sentence. I'm helping Uchiha just because I don't want Danzo to get Uchiha's shaker. I've said everything that needs to be said, and then it's up to you. Naruto waved his hand to drive away Uchiha Shirsue. What? Could it be that you still want me to send you? Naturally, no need. Uchiha Shirsue used the Shunshu technique to leave. Ha ha ha. This. It must be very interesting. Danzo can't get Sharingan, and Uchiha left Konoha to set up a new ninja village. It's fun to think about it. I really don't know such a simple thing, why can't they see through it? If you insist on sticking to the village of Konoha, Uchiha Itachi is also a fool. When threatened, he obediently and slaughtered the entire clan. I feel Uchiha. There are not many normal people in the clan. Sure enough, there are too many people in this world who have problems with their brain circuits. What kind of nonsense about the will of fire is really nonsense? By the way, I was just talking about it. It shouldn't be. Naruto rolled around on the top of Joey's head, thinking that what he said just now was suspected of being a mouth-watering gun. Be careful. I think, the original protagonist's mouth cannons are all things that are not used indiscriminately. It's me who will change your sister. You can control everyone when Naruto. Nine Tails. Face helplessly listened to Naruto complaining passively. After all, he threw Naruto out. She will still run in later, and she almost treats this as her own home, which is too much. Tailed beasts have no human rights. It's so boring to follow the original story. I'm going to make trouble. I'm going to make trouble. No. It's Naruto who wants to make trouble. Besides, Naruto doesn't like men, don't worry. Important. Tail beasts have no gender. Chapter 9 Poor Naruto, 1/2. From above. After the first contact with Uchiha Shirsue, Naruto never had too much contact with Uchiha's people. Except for Urtsuzi, there was no way. In the ninja school, he looked up and saw him at the same table, and he couldn't ignore it if he wanted to ignore it. Uchiha Urju, who has not experienced the genocide and turned into a bitter, and high-cold middle school boy, always wants to find a sense of presence in front of Naruto, perhaps because he is welcomed by too many girls. Being left out, Urtsuzi was dissatisfied. In the ninja school, in order to better learn combat skills, there are often courses in the playground to learn martial arts. Ah! Sasuke! Amidst the screams of the girls, Naruto mercilessly beat Sasuke Uchiha's handsome face into a pig's head, pinched his waist, and stepped on Urju's buttocks, who stared at her resolutely. Still staring at me? I'll ask you if you're convinced. This is quite bouncy, little turkey, you have the talent to be gay. Naruto. A smirk on his face thought maliciously. Naruto's chakra volume and physical skills are far more than Ertsuzi, who has not opened his eyes. This also leads to Ertsuzi and Naruto fighting each other. Most of the time, they only get beaten, especially in Naruto's strange changes. Confused by body technique. I don't know what Naruto thinks. The shape-shifting knot is so tricky that it can be released almost in an instant. In order to become his favorite anime character, Naruto has practiced hard in front of the Nine Tails for a long time. Body art, plus her from the whirlpool. Clan blood, compared to the monster-like chakra volume of ordinary ninjas, it can be said that it is easy to continuously perform transformation in battle. There is no need to consider whether the chakra is enough. Can that kind of experience be done by ordinary ninjas? Enjoying the shade under the tree, the white-haired ninja, who often lacks blue, expressed envy after watching Naruto and Sasuke fight. This kid has an amazing amount of chakra. Ah! Naruto! Get your feet off Sasuke! The girls who saw their men being bullied threw stones at Naruto angrily. Naruto! Hinata can be said to be one of the few girls who did not throw stones at Naruto. Seeing so many stones thrown at Naruto, I couldn't help but worry. I saw that Naruto quickly became a seal. The little squirrel flexibly avoided all the stones and landed smoothly and released the transformation. Naruto, it's amazing. Look. Hinata, who was directly on Naruto, saw that Naruto was able to avoid all the stones in this way, which was both funny and handsome, and Hinata's fair face was full of more. Rub red. After Uchiha Sasuke was treated by the school's medical ninja, the face that was beaten into a pig's head was restored. Uchiha Sasuke, who refused to admit defeat, stopped Naruto after school. Stop. Naruto. I'm going to challenge you. The two pillars were not beaten enough. It's not enough to be beaten into a pig's head by me today. Could it be that I hit Ertsuzi's brain too hard in advance? Did Brother Control Itachi know that he is going to rip my skin off? MMP, no, I have to get away. Naruto patted the finger that Uchiha Sasuke pointed at her, avoided Sasuke who was in front of him and continued to walk forward. After a few minutes. Low ramen, Naruto looked at the expensive seafood ramen in front of him, and his heart collapsed. I make up. Monthly living expenses are not enough to eat a few bowls of seafood ramen. Ertsuzi actually invited me to eat ramen. Treat me to ramen just to get beat up. Naruto sniffed, took back the moved tears, and inhaled the aroma of the ramen, which was her first times to eat. Low high-end seafood ramen. Thinking of this, Naruto couldn't help but shed tears of poverty. Eat it. Don't forget to promise me after you eat it. Sasuke Uchiha thought Naruto was going to change his mind when he saw Naruto eating a ramen, so he hurriedly urged Naruto to eat quickly. How could Sasuke know that Konoha gave Naruto the living expenses, and he couldn't afford seafood ramen? Naruto is really poor, and I don't know if her idiot father's inheritance was stolen by Konoha. Whenever Naruto thinks of this, he can't help complaining to Nine Tails, and he is very sad. Every time he heard that Naruto was distressed by money, Nine Tails showed a stomachache. Nine Tails, who never knew money was nothing, didn't know what to say, so he could only pretend. I'm listening, look. I happily ate the ramen, and Naruto drank the soup without letting go. Clean and satisfied, burping, if there is no one around. It would be better if Sasuke Uchiha stared at her with resentful eyes. In the open space by the lake, Naruto waved to Sasuke Uchiha who was opposite her. Bring it on. Drink. Sasuke Uchiha shouted. The sound rushed to Naruto. Naruto counted the distance, and when Sasuke Uchiha stepped on the trap, Naruto raised his foot slightly, and the rope that suddenly bounced on the ground tripped Sasuke Uchiha. Poor little Sasuke fell a dog and gnawed at the mud, and Naruto covered his mouth and smirked. You are lying. Sasuke Uchiha got up and saw his rope tripping on the ground, his face flushed with anger. Ninja anytime. Don't let your guard down. This is taught by Iruka-sensei. Naruto pinched his waist, obviously doing extremely shameless things, but he was able to look at Sasuke Uchiha righteously and accused. did you not listen to teacher Irika's class well in class? Irika-sensei will be sad to find out. Sasuke Uchiha. When he was overwhelmed by Naruto, he felt that what Naruto said made sense. He pointed at Naruto angrily and said, "Next time, I will never lose to you." The troublesome Ertsuzi. However, if he always invites me to eat seafood ramen to play with him, it is not impossible. After all, she is really poor, unlike Uchiha who is still very rich even after being kicked out of the village's power center. The garrison is also a good job to make money. Poor Sasuke Uchiha still doesn't know that his label in Naruto's heart is not an opponent, but a meal ticket. At night, Uchiha Itachi looked at Sasuke, who was working physique. He was a little puzzled. He had never seen Sasuke so hard before. What happened to make him practice so hard? Uchiha Itachi frowned at the thought of Sasuke who came back with a dismal face. Did you get bullied at school? Sasuke. Uchiha Itachi went to Sasuke, he wanted to ask what happened at the ninja school. Brother. Why are you here? Sasuke stopped throwing his fists and looked at his brother who came over. Did something happen at school? You were wronged. You must tell me. Uchiha Itachi touched Sasuke's head with concern. No. How could I be bullied? Then why did you suddenly start cultivating physique so hard? That is because. Sasuke puffed out his cheeks angrily, and his cute appearance made Itachi show a gentle smile. After listening to Sasuke tell the truth, he was relieved. Wind done gale palm. Naruto, who tried to feel the change in the nature of the wind, tried his best to suppress the wind on his fingers when he released gale palm. With bang. With a sound, the skin of Naruto's fingers shattered, revealing red flesh and blood. Drop. Dripped to the ground. Failed. Naruto gasped in pain. With a cold breath, she frowned and wrapped her fingers with gauze. This kind of injury can be healed in minutes under the treatment of Nine Tails chakra, but she didn't want to do it. She didn't want Umbu to see that the Nine Tails chakra could quickly heal her injuries, and even if the healing was done, the healing speed had to be slowed down. Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor Chapter 6. The more hidden cards, the better for her. Chapter 10 Wind Escape, Finger Spear, Repair, 1/2. Male sign Bang. The skin on the fingers again. Chopped by the violent wind, Naruto sat cross-legged on the ground, watching the blood dripping to the ground. Wrapped with gauze. While thinking, where is she? Step is wrong. She just wanted to gather the chakras that turned into wind on her fingers and compress them into projectiles and shoot them out. This kind of attack was like Uri Yusuke's spirit pills. Unfortunately, both attempts ended in failure. Go ahead and try it. Naruto looked at the gauze-wrapped fingers and prepared to keep trying. Half an hour later, Naruto, with his hands wrapped in bandages, walked home with a pale face and staggering. Umbu, who had witnessed how Naruto cultivated, was stunned, not to mention the card that Naruto cultivated in the dark. Casey. Naruto, stop practicing like this. Kakashi appeared beside Naruto frowning, you are still young, and continuing to do so will have a bad effect on your body. I want to get stronger. Naruto clenched his fists tightly, blood seeping through the white gauze, and a heartbreaking smile appeared on his pale face. Only in this way can you control your own destiny, isn't it? Kakashi watched Naruto leave until he disappeared before his eyes. He doesn't stop. This time, I questioned the decision made by the top management of Konoha. Seeing such a heartbreaking expression on the teacher's child for the first time, a firm belief in the will of Konoha Fire was born in his heart. Silk shakes. Are their decisions correct? No, that was the wrong decision. Even if it was a wrong decision, there's nothing I can do to change it. Questioning orders is not something a ninja should do. Kakashi took out Intimacy Paradise and walked under the street lamp, leaned against the street lamp and looked at it, without flipping it for several minutes. Page. When he got home, Naruto didn't go to find Nine Tails. He brushed his teeth with difficulty, changed the gauze, and fell asleep on the bed. The next day, Mizuki saw Naruto's hands wrapped in gauze to go to school. He was concerned about holding Naruto's wrist, and looked at Naruto's hands wrapped in thick gauze that looked a lot bloated. "Naruto, your hand, what's going on?" Naruto raised his hands. Face embarrassed, scratching his cheeks. "I accidentally injured my hands while practicing ninjutsu." "It's okay, it's not a serious injury, I'll be fine soon." Finally, Mizuki took Naruto to the medical ninja in the school to treat the wound on his hand. Unbuttoning the gauze and seeing the scars on Naruto's hands that can be described as hideous, Shueimu was stunned. This little child has practiced ninjutsu so hard. This wound is obviously caused by the wind. When he was healing, Naruto, who had a pale face, bit his lip, and the feeling of rapid skin growth was really uncomfortable. Looking at the back of Mizuki leaving, Naruto narrowed his eyes. "Mizuki, this guy has what intentions, so far? Try it straight at me, he knows that I am a nine-tailed man, and what is the benefit of having a good relationship with me? Chips. And many more. Chips for negotiating terms with Konoha. How dare he do this in a mere chunin? Too long to live. I think too much. Just look at my poor and simple desire to be my spiritual support, just like Irika. If that's the case, Mizuki is really impressive to me. It's a shame that I thought he could have some serious plans, boring." Disgustingly rubbing his hands, Naruto decided to wash his hands several times. "Naruto." Hinata's weak voice came from behind, and Naruto turned to see Hinata who was looking at her shyly. "Huh? Hinata, why did you come to the medical room? Are you injured?" The big pig's hoof of the former steel straight man did not see what Hinata was thinking about her, but looked at Hinata with concern, trying to find out Hinata where is Tion injured. Quilt. Being watched by Naruto like that. Hinata blushed and smoke was blowing from her head. "Have a fever?" "Naruto." The hand touched Hinata's forehead, and the other. He touched his forehead with his hand, but Hinata fainted, so scared that Naruto hurriedly hugged Hinata. He kicked open the door of the medical room and rushed in. "Doctor." "I was too excited, which led to coma." After the doctor's examination, he looked at Naruto with black lines on his face. Naruto's footprints on the door, the doctor sighed and gave up the idea of Naruto paying for repairs. Naruto scratched his head in surprise. In the original book, Hinata would be so shy that he fell into a coma because of Naruto's sudden approach. How could he do this to me? That's her character. Even after being persuaded by Kakashi, Mizuki, I persuaded me too, Naruto did not give up, she wanted her own ninjutsu, no. It's been 2 days, how could it be because? Give up when it hurts. Lying on the grass, mouth in mouth. Naruto with roots, looking at the clouds floating in the sky. If the knot seal is to guide the chakra in the body, then should I use the knot seal to guide the chakra into the ninjutsu I want? Do what you say, Naruto gets up. Clumsily tried various gestures. The dull time always flies, and the Uchiha family has also undergone subtle changes, and the number of people who come back is always less than those who went out. Under the bright sun, the waterfall appeared above. A beautiful rainbow. Naruto is under the waterfall, skillfully forming a seal. Wind escape finger spear. The wind that was compressed to the limit shot out in the form of projectiles, hit the waterfall, and exploded violently. The water in the area was cut off for a few seconds, exposing wet rocks. The falling water soaked Naruto's clothes, but it was difficult to extinguish Naruto's excitement at the moment. After studying hard for half a year, from the very beginning, the skin of her fingers will be smashed, and then there will be a few wounds. Naruto has suffered too much for the past 2 months. Finally, she has her own ninjutsu. It's not the rubbing of the original Naruto, but a ninjutsu with powerful destructive power that really belongs to you. It is not so easy to study the changes in the nature of wind, not to mention that there are very few ninjas in Konoha Jingfeng, even people who know wind escape will not come to guide Naruto's cultivation. She can only rely on herself. But this ninjutsu is just that. It's a prototype, and it needs more time to be good. Just when Naruto was excited, Umbu suddenly appeared behind Naruto and in front of Naruto. Black will lose consciousness. Wait. What are you doing? Umbu, who had been lying in ambush in the dark, appeared and surrounded the Umbu who had knocked Naruto out. On the order of Lord Danzo wants to see her. Umbu, who was in charge of protecting Naruto, watched Umbu, who belonged to the root, hugged the unconscious Naruto and disappeared in place, and they looked at each other. Eyes also disappeared. A large piece of water on the ground disappeared with the passage of the incident. No one except Umbu knew that Naruto was taken away here. In the inner world, the nine tails were as anxious as their tails were on fire. What happened and why did Naruto lose consciousness? It just fell asleep. Feel, what happened? In the dimly lit room, Naruto's eyelids trembled and he slowly opened his eyes. Here is. A man whose right eye was covered by a white cloth was in front of Naruto, looking down at Naruto and said slowly, Uzumaki Naruto, as a ninja student who has not yet become a ninja, with the help of Mizuki, you got a record of Feng done. The scroll of Gale Palm, which created a new wind escape. Naruto. He recognized the person in front of him with his eyes, the scar on his chin, his right eye covered by a white cloth. Who else could it be if it wasn't Shimura Danzo? Why did you bring me here? Naruto blinked innocently. He stared at Danzo suspiciously. Even if he had already angered all the women of the 18th generation of Tuanzang's ancestors in his heart, Naruto did not dare to show it. For Konoha, Naruto Uzumaki, hand over your ninjutsu. Danzo Tai waved his hand, and Umbu, who belonged to Gen, immediately placed the blank scroll and pen in front of Naruto. Like it was right for Konoha to hand over the fruits of her hard work, that's all. The words, for Konoha, can forcibly take away the fruits of her hard work. However, the main purpose of Danzo was not the ninjutsu created by Naruto. The main thing was that Danzo knew that Naruto had been in contact with Shisui Uchiha before, and he wanted to take this opportunity to beat Naruto and let her honest. Point, the surface is for Naruto's ninjutsu, but in fact it is to keep Naruto away from Uchiha clan. Naruto held the pen and lowered his head, closing his eyes as if he was thinking about how to write, but he was actually trying to cover the unwillingness and anger in his eyes. Her anger has reached an uncontrollable level. Her parents died for Konoha, and how did Konoha treat her? Arrogant to take away the ninjutsu she created. It is good. Hatred. Naruto, who was caught in hatred, never thought that his contact with Uchiha Shisui would cause Danzo's suspicion, and when the 3 generations of Hokage had something to leave, he attacked her. Chapter 11 Planted Seeds, Repair, 1/2. Male sign the anger and hatred in her heart, like a fiery flame, scorched Naruto's will, forcing her to go crazy. A trace of blood red appeared in the blue eyes. Naruto knew that he couldn't run out of control here. Once out of control, even if the 3rd generation comes, it will not be able to protect her, Konoha will have no place for her, and even she will be brainwashed into an obedient puppet by Danzo. A useful tool. Suppressing the anger and resentment in his heart, Naruto looked at the blank scroll as if nothing had happened, biting the pen as if thinking about how to write. Naruto never thought that he would meet Danzo in this way, and no. The first time they meet, Danzo will take away the ninjutsu she has worked so hard to create. Where exactly? Step is wrong, why did it become like this? Maybe I am from. From the beginning, it should be disguised as Naruto from the original. Like. Uzumaki Naruto, after you write it, you can go home. Danzo looked at Naruto with interest, and was able to change and create new ninjutsu based on Foam Dun and Gale Palm. Danzo saw great potential in this ninjutsu. From Danzo's point of view, he did not brainwash Naruto into an obedient puppet, which has already given 3 generations of face. What Konoha needs is obedient human strength, not danger. A bomb that will explode at any time will cause irreparable damage to Konoha. Naruto stared at the blank scroll for a long time, then tilted his head to look at Danzo, his blue eyes full of confusion. What? Don't you want to hand over your ninjutsu? Danzo snorted coldly. He looked at Naruto with a cold left eye. Naruto didn't seem to feel Danzo's anger, and innocently blinked his eyes and said in a trembling voice, I can't write. That slightly trembling voice like a weak little sheep screaming with fear will not make the ruthless Danzo feel any soft-hearted. In Danzo's eyes, Naruto is just a prop with the 9 tails sealed. In the village, when she needs to use it, she will contribute to Konoha, even if it is to sacrifice her life. However, what Danzo didn't expect was that this item was quite useful, and it was possible to develop a new ninjutsu based on Foam Gun and Gale Palm. Danzo's evaluation of Naruto rose a bit. Really? Danzo stared at Naruto, his falcon-like eyes staring at his prey. He stared at Naruto like this, as if to see through all Naruto's thoughts. Then you use it. Show me times. The right eye covered by the white cloth slowly opened, and even through the white cloth, the three-wheeled Goyu riding wheel I could easily record any of Naruto's movements. Well, I see. Naruto nodded, his deep blue eyes flashing. Silk decided. Wind. Blood splattered everywhere, and the skin on the back of Naruto's palm was torn to shreds by the violent wind, and the torn skin splashed onto Danzo's face, slipped to the ground, and left behind on Danzo's indifferent face. Evil bloodstains. Yes, when you failed to use it before. But this is not what I want you to use this ninjutsu successfully. Danzo forced Naruto to continue to use Foam Gun Finger Spear, but he was not all because of the ninjutsu created by Naruto. He also wanted to take this opportunity to trigger Naruto's rampage, even if it didn't cause Naruto's rampage, taking this opportunity to beat Naruto makes her more honest. Point, obediently as Konoha's weapon. If it can trigger Naruto's rampage, then he can take this opportunity to completely brainwash Naruto into Konoha's puppet weapon. A remote-controlled bomb that can be detonated remotely. Naruto. The place where the 9 tails were sealed became. The blood-red, crimson water surface was bubbling and bubbling like boiling water. 9 tails violently slammed into the door that sealed it, and wanted to rush out to kill Danzo in extreme anger. 9 tails. Calm. I'm fine. Naruto, who felt the violent emotions of the 9 tails, hurriedly comforted the 9 tails. On the surface, he was crying in pain and crying, but he also comforted the 9 tails who were about to explode. Naruto felt good. Tired and want to die. Danzo looked indifferently at Naruto who was holding his wrist and wailing in pain. Come on, if you want to go home, just do as I say. Tuanzo. The door was violently kicked open, and the 3rd generation followed Kakashi, 2 advisors, and several Umbu. When he walked in, he saw Naruto, whose right hand had no skin, his red flesh exposed, and his blue eyes were full of pain. With fear, tears filled her immature pale face. Kakashi. Take Naruto to the hospital. Seeing Naruto's blood-splattered hands exposed, the 3 generations' apology to Minato Namikaze reached the highest point. Yes. Kakashi came to Naruto, hugged Naruto, and disappeared. Danzo, you're really going too far. The 3rd generation pulled the hat representing Hokage on his head, his voice revealed his disappointment with Danzo. When he saw the blood on Danzo's face, the 3rd generation naturally thought that the wounds on Naruto's hands were caused by Danzo, not to mention the scattered skin fragments on the ground, which can better prove that the wounds on Naruto's hands were caused by Danzo, who is skilled in the air. You should know that she is the orphan of 4 generations of couples. The 4 generations sacrificed their lives for Konoha. Konoha owes Naruto too much. You treat Naruto like this. Humph. In my eyes, she is nothing more than a 9-tailed man. I admire the 4th generation very much. He protected Konoha village with his own life. It is worthy of my admiration. Danzo's eyes flashed when he mentioned Namikaze Minato. See admired, of course, he did not take Uzumaki Kushina in his eyes. Perhaps, in his opinion, Renzali was just a prop of Konoha. Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor. Chapter 7. Seeing Danzo without any remorse, the 3rd generation shouted angrily, Tanzo, you are not allowed to take action against Naruto in the future. Next time, don't blame me for being ruthless. Said, turned to leave, and Tuanzong looked at the back of the 3 generations in situ, thoughtfully. The 2 advisors who followed behind the 3rd generation gave Danzo a wink, and Danzo said he received it. Naruto. Kyubi looked at the silent Naruto and hesitated. I'm fine, it's just a little uncomfortable. Naruto raised his head with red tears in his eyes. Drop. Drops slid off the cheeks. Kyuei, did I do something wrong? Did I do something heinous that made Konoha treat me like this? Naruto looked at Ninetales with a fragile expression, and his eyes revealed confusion. Konoha was right. No matter how bad she was, she just wanted to leave Konoha, not to take revenge on Konoha. She never showed malice towards Konoha, but Konoha did. Again and again. Hurt her again. Naruto. I don't know. Kyuei looked at the crying Naruto distressed, not knowing how to comfort him. The tail rolled up Naruto and gently placed it on top of its head. Since it was sealed, it has never been with him. Human beings have had more communication, only hatred. Human Julie hates it, resents it, and binds it. And all it can do is to keep resisting, unwilling to let those who use it use its power at no cost. Naruto clenched Kyuubi's hair tightly and gritted his teeth. If it weren't for the coming of the third generation, Ninetales, I could only use your power. I'm still too weak. I have to become stronger. Living in this world, being weak is a sin. In the world of Naruto, even the skin of blood cannot change the quality of the weak. At night, Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Fuyue quarreled fiercely for Uchiha. The future of the clan, Uchiha Shisui, who knew that he could not convince the stubborn patriarch to change his mind, suddenly turned on the kaleidoscope and used Bidian on Uchiha Fuyue. The will of Uchiha Fugaku. As Uchiha, the family's reputation is very high, and since he can plan a coup d'état, he can naturally lead Uchiha. The family broke away from Konoha and was established. A new ninja village. Behind the paper door, Uchiha Itachi, who overheard his father's conversation with Shisui, watched Sasuke, who was working hard in physique, in the courtyard. Uchiha. Is it really that easy to break away from Konoha? Sasuke is still so young, I can't let Sasuke be in danger. If I tell the 3 generations of this matter, can it be prevented by negotiation? Brother. Brother. Sasuke Uchiha saw his brother in a daze, as if there was something distressing. He frowned, walked over and tugged at his brother's clothes. Sasuke, what's wrong? Uchiha Itachi smiled and touched Sasuke's hair, as if his previous troubles were fake. Sample. Brother. Don't always touch my head. The president is not tall. Sasuke covered his head and pouted in dissatisfaction. Uchiha Itachi looked very cute. How could it be, Sasuke? He will grow tall. Uchiha Itachi reached out and tapped Sasuke's forehead. Erwuzi Itachi is online. Chapter 12, Destruction or Rebirth. 1/2. Male sign Uchiha Itachi told the 3 generations of Hokage what he knew. After the 3 generations of Hokage and Uchiha Itachi discussed, they were going to find Uchiha. The patriarch of the Saisai clan, that is, Uchiha Fuyake negotiates, hoping to stop Uchiha. The family broke away from Konoha as one of the 2 families who created Konoha. The 3rd generation is not want Uchiha. The one who broke away from Konoha, Uchiha. The clan is Konoha's top fighting power. Especially Uchiha. The clan's Sharingan has established an illustrious name on the battlefield of the Ninja World War, including Uchiha. Konoha, where the clan lives, and other shinobi villages want to take action against Konoha, but they must also be a little bit jealous of Uchiha. However, Uchiha. The fact that the ethnic group is becoming more and more restless is also a fact that has to be considered. When Uchiha Itachi left the Hokage office building, Uchiha Shisui's voice rang in his ears. Itachi, I didn't expect you to do this, you really. Not at all for Uchiha. Do you think about the future of the clan? The dark crow stopped on Uchiha Itachi's shoulder, and the crow's red eyes were 3-wheeled Goyu riding round eyes. It was through this crow that Uchiha Shisui spoke to Uchiha Itachi, and it was also through this crow that he noticed Uchiha Itachi's abnormality. He didn't expect that the second 5 in Uchiha would be Itachi. This is a big blow to Shisui. I do this precisely for the future of Uchiha. The surrounding scenery is distorted. In an instant, Uchiha Itachi found himself coming. A world surrounded by black and white, Uchiha Shisui, not far away, looked at him silently. The relationship between Uchiha and Konoha is getting worse and worse. Do you think it can really be resolved through negotiation? Uchiha Shisui asked Uchiha Itachi. I believe in the 3 generations of Hokage. Uchiha Itachi said without hesitation, without any hesitation. The voice just fell. The dagger pierced his chest, and then dozens of daggers pierced through Uchiha Itachi's body like rain. This is the world of illusion, all. Everything is under the control of Uchiha Shisui, even Uchiha Itachi is difficult to break free from Uchiha Shisui's illusion, not to mention that he only opened 3 rounds of Goju writing round eyes, and it is difficult to talk about the pupil power of writing round eyes. An eye-catcher with Uchiha Shisui's kaleidoscope writing wheel. Approximately equal to or the image of approximately equal to or the image of. Itachi Uchiha, you are too naive. There are too many people in Uchiha who are dissatisfied with Konoha's neglect of Uchiha clan. This kind of resentment that has been accumulated for a long time cannot be resolved by negotiation alone. If you really think about Uchiha, then stop doing things that are bad for Uchiha. Itachi, this is my last time. I call you that, I hope you don't force me to kill you. Just as Uchiha Shisui's warning voice fell, the illusion removed Uchiha Itachi and returned to the real world, and the sound of the sword unsheathed rang in his ears. The strands of black hair fell to the ground before he noticed it, and the instant body stop water really lived up to its reputation. Uchiha Itachi did not respond to the unpredictable instant body technique, and his hair was cut off. Thread. Watching the ground follow. The hair fluttered away in the breeze. Uchiha Itachi was in place with a cold sweat on his face, and the hot sun could hardly warm his body that was sweating. In the forest, Naruto leaned against a tree trunk, listened to the chirping of birds, and squinted lazily at the clouds in the sky. Naruto got information about Uchiha from Sasuke through sidetracking. The clan has some unusual news recently. Although it was only a few short sentences, those words were enough for Naruto to analyze a lot of information. It's almost time, Uchiha. Will the clan be exterminated? Or will it be reborn? What did Uchiha Shisui plan to do? There are Erwuzi, seemingly referring to Uchiha Itachi, Erwuzi, seemingly referring to Uchiha Obito, and a Danzo that is coveting. Seemingly crossed out, the 2/5 sons that Naruto thought of were Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Obito, these 2 genocide killers, if they wiped out the other 1,000 hands. Clan. It's fair enough, you 2 will destroy your own Uchiha. What's up with the clan? You are too obedient even if it is the order of the senior officials of Konoha. Brother control weasel. Uchiha. The eyes of the clan are about to become a recognized treasure in the Naruto world. I want to do it. Replace it for yourself. However, this goes on, Uchiha. It is very likely that the clan will still go to the road of annihilation in the original book. It would be great if I could become a shadow clone, so that I could change my identity to contact Uchiha Shisui. Identity, when the time comes to release the clone, even if the people of Konoha dig 3 feet in the ground, it is impossible to find someone who does not exist in this world. Maybe. I can go to Kakashi to learn shadow avatars, but I don't know if Kakashi will teach me. Well, what a headache. Do not care. Go to Kakashi, whether he teaches me or not, always try. Try. However, where would Kakashi be at such a time? In Naruto's mind, Kakashi looked very intently with Intimacy Paradise in his hand, and the corner of his mouth couldn't help shaking. Coming to the vicinity of the adult shop, Naruto transformed into a little mouse, slipped in easily, and found Kakashi who was reading the newly released Intimacy Paradise. His eyes were wide open, and his eyes were full of excited bloodshots. Naruto was stunned. Lying on the grass. Jiraiya, you are a lot of harm. Kakashi, your hobby is really. Kakashi heard Naruto's voice and subconsciously hid the book behind him, looked around, looked up, and didn't see Naruto's figure. Have. The little mouse with golden hair. Before leaving the store, Kakashi paid for the newly released Intimacy Paradise, and then walked out of the store with the struggling little mouse. Cough. Kakashi coughed lightly when he saw the little mouse looking at him with deep eyes. The sound eased the awkward atmosphere and let go of the little mouse's tail. Tell me, what's the matter with me? Naruto lifted the transformation technique in front of Kakashi, pinched his waist and stared at Kakashi with big blue eyes, with a wicked smile on his face. Kakashi taught me the art of shadow doppelganger. If you don't teach me, I'll slap you. The obscene-faced pornographic/sex publications are publicized. Hearing Naruto's threatening words, Kakashi didn't get angry, stared at Naruto with dead fish eyes, and thought for a moment. You can tell. For a reason that convinces me, I will teach you the art of shadow avatar. Well. Naruto thought about it for a while and replied seriously, I heard that the avatar of the shadow avatar technique has an entity, I want to practice with myself. Naruto's words made Kakashi think that Naruto had more contact with Iruka Mizuki and Sasuke at school, and almost at other times. Straight is lonely. Personal. There will be people who want to practice with shadow clones, and only Naruto will be. Kakashi left after teaching Naruto how to use shadow clone, leaving behind Naruto who remembered how to seal and had a general understanding of shadow clone. Shadow clone technique. Naruto Yuin tried to use the shadow clone technique, bang. The smoke dissipated. A soft and gray shadow avatar lying on the ground with closed eyes, if not it would be like noodles. Such hands and feet, I guess I thought this clone was sleeping. See this. Even Umbu, who was staring at Naruto in the distance, almost couldn't help laughing. The ninjas in Umbu didn't see the meaningful smile on Naruto's mouth. Do you really think Naruto didn't find them? Is the pattern Tucson broken? This group of people had long been exposed, but Naruto pretended not to notice that it lowered their vigilance. The failure to release the shadow clone technique was also deliberately performed by Naruto to show them. Help people to the end, send Buddha to West. Perhaps stimulated by Danzo, Naruto decided to intervene in Uchiha. The matter of the family is over, and the masked man Obito who killed her mother in front of her will intervene. She has no reason not to intervene. But what she wants to send is a clone. Even in terms of combat power, she can't shake Uchiha Obito head-on, but even with a strategy, she must make Uchiha Obito feel uncomfortable. As for whether it can change the fate of the genocide, it depends on Uchiha. The family's own business. Chapter 13 Uchiha of Internal and External Troubles, 1/2. Mail sign Naruto carried it. Zeta left after throwing the bag full of instant ramen boxes in the trash. A little mouse carefully lifted the lid of the trash can from the trash can, looked at the height from the ground, and swallowed. He spit, rubbed his small paws, jumped to the ground, and got in. It disappeared in the grass next to it. No one will pay attention to this ordinary little mouse looking for food in the trash can, except for some idle cats. Naruto looked at the fat cat standing in front of her, and the whole mouse was bad. No matter what, Naruto would never have expected to meet him here. There was only a fat cat blocking the road, and there were ninjas in ambush around, seemingly to catch this fat cat. If there are no ninjas around, Naruto can cancel the transformation and run away. Now, when there are ninjas around, how can she dare to cancel the transformation? She can only stay in place and pretend to be scared by this fat cat. Look. It's hard to send this clone out, but it can't disappear easily. Meow. The fat cat saw the little mouse. He didn't move, twisted his fat buttocks, his tail trembled with the twisting of his buttocks, and slammed into the little mouse, only to see that the little mouse's movements were light and agile, and when the fat cat rushed over, it jumped to the fat cat's head. Up, running from the fat cat's head to its tail. Biting on the base of the fat cat's tail. It's now. The ninja hiding in the dark took this opportunity. He rushed up and pressed the fat cat to the ground, and no one noticed that the little mouse that bit the fat cat's tail took the opportunity to slip away. Ahu caught it. Ahu. The body is plump and fat, like a ball, and the woman hugs it tightly. A fat cat with a loveless face. Naruto saw this. Shadow Road. Sound deserves it. Exist. In a no-man's corner, Naruto released the transformation technique and used the transformation technique at the same time. The long green hair reaches to the waist. Wearing a white suit, Naruto transformed into the C.C who left a deep impression on her when she first appeared in Lelouch R2. Golden eyes narrowed slightly. Naruto. No. Now she looks like she should be called CC Uchiha Obito. Don't think your plan will succeed. Although I don't like my stupid dad, that doesn't mean I don't like the mother who gave birth to me. Uzumaki Kushina's cry appeared in front of her eyes, with her hands behind her back and her fingers clasped together. The cyan blood vessels are clearly visible. There's always something you've done to her. God, I will be with you. And figure it out. Now. I'll be happy as long as you and Konoha executives are upset. Come on, let me disrupt all your plans. C.C touched her cheeks and showed a bright smile. All she could see from her eyes was the deep darkness and hysterical madness. Leisurely walked towards Uchiha, the garrison where the tribe is located. On the road, with the novel eyes of Konoha villagers, C.C smiled indifferently. He was accustomed to being stared at by Konoha villagers with disgusting eyes, and being looked at by their novel eyes made him feel uncomfortable. The breeze blew, and the hair in front of C.C's forehead was blown up by the wind, and the Gias mark that was like a bird spreading its wings could be vaguely seen from the hair. Konoha Police Department. C.C sat high profile in the office of the police department, eating the octopus that the police officers bought for her. Hey! How long are you going to stay? I have something important to tell him until Uchiha Shisui comes back. C.C rested his chin in his hands, clenched his teeth, and watched the police officers approaching her aggressively, spit out a toothpick, clapped his hands, and it suddenly accelerated and flew past his cheeks, nailing it into the wall behind him. Naruto, who created a new ninjutsu based on foam dun and gale palm, can be said to be very handy with the use of gale palm. Look behind you into the wall. Half a toothpick. The police officer's pupils shrank suddenly. If C.C wanted to kill him, he wouldn't even have a chance to open his eyes. Just be quiet. I don't want to disturb you. I'm just here waiting for Shisui Uchiha. If you want me to leave soon, go and find Shisui Uchiha. There was unabashed pride in C.C's voice, as if he didn't take them seriously. What's your tone? How dare you look down on our Uchiha? You Uchiha? Are you a three-wheeled Goyu or a kaleidoscope that can make me look up to you? Don't be too arrogant. Your bloodline is not your arrogant talent. Speak with your strength. Facing the flying shuriken, C.C disappeared along with the smoke. The shuriken flew towards the person who couldn't help but shoot at her. The 2 rounds of Goyu turned in his eyes, and easily avoided the shuriken. What he didn't expect was that the shuriken was actually transformed by CC. The smoke cleared, C.C's fingers tapped his shoulder, and the wind pierced through his shoulder. You, who are you? Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor. Chapter 8. Covering the shoulders he shrugged weakly, he looked at C.C in shock. I'm considered a friend of Shisui Uchiha. C.C returned to the place where he was sitting, and when he saw the octopus ball overturned by the shuriken, he stared at him badly. Go buy me another one. Return. Yes. The police officer, frightened by C.C's gaze, dragged his immobile shoulders and ran out in embarrassment. A woman with green hair is looking for me. Uchiha Shisui looked at the person in front of him in surprise. Did she say she was looking for me for something? No, she just said she has something important to tell you. Okay, I get it. Uchiha Shisui rushed to the Konoha Police Department on his way, thinking constantly, he never knew it. The green-haired woman, no matter what, she knows who she is and why she is looking for me when you meet me. Uchiha Shisui pushed open the door of the police department's office and saw that there was sitting in the office. Woman with long green hair in strange dress. Yo. You're finally here, I've been waiting impatiently. C.C saw Uchiha Shisui, who pushed the door and walked in, put down the toothpick, wiped the sauce from the corner of his mouth gracefully, and looked at Uchi with a smile on his face. Wave stop. Who are you? Uchiha Shisui looked at C.C coldly. Are you sure it's safe here? It won't let the next conversation between you and me be exposed. C.C secretly laughing, squinting golden eyes. Suddenly, the surrounding scenery turned black and white, and C.C was brought into the world of illusion by Uchiha Shisui. What do you think of this place? Very good. C.C nodded, looked at Uchiha Shisui and reminded, however, I advise you not to attack me, I'm just a clone now, and using other days for me is just a waste of pupil power. So, what's your purpose in looking for me, strange woman, I shouldn't have seen you. Uchiha Shisui's icy voice carried. Silk is impatient. Oh. What, encountered something unpleasant? C.C heard from his words. Silk fire, Uchiha. The people of the family are really not good at hiding their emotions, if they are Uchiha with them. In this way, it is estimated that Danzo has long been caught and brainwashed. Uchiha. Itachi. C.C guessed the name of Uchiha Itachi, while observing the change of expression on Uchiha Shisui's face. Seeing the obvious distortion on Uchiha Shisui's face, C.C showed a clear smile. Sure enough, Erwuzi is Erwuzi. Even if it was a coup d'état and turned into a divorce from Konoha, Uchiha Itachi still became Erwuzi and took Uchiha. The clan's plan was told to 3 generations. Well, Danzo knows that this matter is for Uchiha's riding wheel, and as a person, he will definitely spare no effort to instigate the high-level Konoha to put pressure on the 3 generations, even if it is the matter of Hokage and Konoha, he is impossible. It all counts. It seems, Uchiha. The destruction of the clan is only a matter of time. Chapter 14 Ultimate Pupil, Revision, 1/2. Male sign, shut up. Uchiha Jishui came to C.C in an instant, and the blade of the short knife in his hand was against C.C's fragile neck, just down gently. Pressing, can cut C.C's neck. Uchiha. The clan is in trouble at home and abroad. How far do you think it is to exterminate the clan? C.C didn't look at the dagger on his neck. If Uchiha Shisui really dares to kill this clone, then Uchiha. This is how the clan will be exterminated. There are traitors inside, and Konoha high-level officials are staring at them. Your Uchiha's eyes are really valuable, especially with Kakashi's famous sample. You are. Uchiha Shisui looked at this to him. A familiar woman withdrew her dagger. Have you not recognized me yet? I'm Naruto Uzumaki. C.C spread his hands silently and mocked, and Uchiha, he can't even see through my transformation, those eyes are for those who need them. By the way, I am like this, you can call me CC. Why did you come to the garrison like this? Uchiha Shisui looked at C.C in surprise, ignoring C.C's sarcastic words. In order to get rid of Umbu, this is the only way. Being stalked by Umbu every day is about to bore me to death. Thinking of those Umbu C.Cs, I was so angry that I even sent female Umbu ninjas to follow me when I went to the toilet. 24 hours a day under the protection of Umbu, writing protection reads as surveillance. If Jiawei hadn't told her, she still didn't know, how could there be so many coincidences in the toilet? If I'm not mistaken, the traitor in / out of your Uchiha is Uchiha Itachi, right? How do you know? Uchiha Shisui's face became very ugly. It was just my guess. From your reaction, I can be sure. I guessed right. Uchiha Itachi made a betrayal of Uchiha clan, and let you know. He told the 3 generations of Hokage that the Uchiha clan wanted to break away from Konoha, and the 3 generations of Hokage hoped to resolve it through negotiation. Do you think Uchiha clan and Konoha executives can be resolved through negotiation? C.C looked at Uchiha Shisui with a half-smile. Cannot. Uchiha Shisui shook his head, this is the end of the matter, even if the 3rd generation wants to resolve it through negotiation, those are to Uchiha. It is impossible for the Konoha executives who are eyeing the clan to agree. The Uchiha clan was exiled to the corner of Konoha. To put it mildly, it is to maintain the security and stability of Konoha, and to say it badly is to kick Uchiha clan out of Konoha's circle of power, let you Uchiha be honest. Take care of Konoha's home and care for the hospital, and when you need it, you Uchiha will go to the battlefield, and the bodies of the dead Uchiha people may have their eyes gouged out. Do not talk. The illusion world fluctuated violently, and Uchiha Shisui thought of Uchiha who was killed on the battlefield. The corpses of the clan members, all of them did not return to Uchiha, but were collected by Konoha. Even if he did not want to think about that, he understood that the eyes of those clan members. It must have fallen into the hands of Konoha high-level officials. Thinking of the clansmen who were born and died for Konoha, their eyes were gouged out by Konoha, whom they were loyal to. You can imagine the taste in Uchiha Shirsue's heart. Even so, C.C. was still not ready to let Uchiha Shirsue go, covered his face with a big laugh, and said a more cruel reality that Uchiha Shirsue could not accept. What an obedient dog. Unfortunately, this dog is getting more and more dissatisfied with its owner, and wants to bite back. Do you think Konoha will leave a disobedient dog behind? Look at me. Uchiha Shirsue. C.C. raised Uchiha Shirsue's head and forced him to look at him. The golden eyes instantly turned blood red and the pupils stood up, full of madness and hatred. Seeing such eyes, Uchiha Shirsue subconsciously turned on the kaleidoscope writing wheel to look at them. Let me answer for you. Konoha will not let the disobedient dog go. Not only will they not let go, but they will also kill the disobedient dog. Peel its skin. Eat its meat. Drink to the best of its marrow. Squeeze all its worth. And then pretend. The deputy is not concerned with yourself, hide the truth of the matter, and pretend. The deputy is a good person, go to adopt Uchiha. There may be orphans left in the clan. Do not talk. Uchiha Shirsue shouted, and the world of illusion was instantly shattered. With a blackened smile on C.C's face, she looked at Shirsue Uchiha, who was sweating and panting heavily. Maliciousness radiated from her body. Uchiha Shirsue, you have to recognize the reality before you can see the future path. Don't think things too naively. How can more than 200 people in Uchiha leave Konoha safely? What can I do? I have done everything I have to do. Uchiha Shirsue thought that he had modified Uchiha Fuyue's will with Bietien, and then called on Uchiha. By leaving the Konoha ninja village collectively, the family can avoid conflict with Konoha. Now it seems that he thinks things too simply. It's not that things haven't turned around, Uchiha still has a chance. C.C. got up from his chair, stretched lazily, and walked to Uchiha Shirsue's side. Susanoo. If you can use the whole of Susanoo, you can take everyone away from Konoha, but, with your current kaleidoscope shaker use Susanoo, your eyes will be blinded. Not to mention opening the entire Susanoo. All of the Susanoo in the original work are almost the eternal kaleidoscope to use it without any scruples, What I don't understand is the last. How did Obito give Kakashi's pupil power to Kakashi during the war? He's so weird, isn't he? If it is possible to do that, can Neji also temporarily give Naruto or other people the pupil power of his white eyes like that? Susanoo. Once with Senju Hashima, who is called Ninja no Madara. Uchiha, who founded the Konoha ninja village, used the ultimate pupil technique. You can only use the kaleidoscope with both eyes open. However, this kind of ninja, although the technique is powerful, it is difficult to continue to use Susanoo without a large enough chakra. Pupil power and chakra, both are lacking. No, even if chakra is enough to use Susanoo, but with the consumption of pupil power still blind, overuse and even death. C.C. patted Uchiha Shirsue's shoulder when he saw Uchiha Shirsue's heartbeat. How? After knowing the side effects of Susanoo, do you still want to use it? How can I activate Susanoo? I don't know very well either. All I know is that when the pupil power of the kaleidoscope of kaleidoscopes is exerted to the extreme, the ultimate pupil technique, Susanoo, will be activated. C.C. told Uchiha Shirsue what he knew, looked at Uchiha Shirsue, who was in deep thought, and continued, now in front of Uchiha. There are only two ways, or you can leave Konoha and be betrayed. The title, or announcing to leave Konoha in advance, and leaving Konoha for a fair reason, both will be attacked by Konoha ninjas on the way out of Konoha. Number 1. The first type is an open attack, and the second is a secret attack. How to choose depends on your Uchiha clan's own thoughts. C.C., who was worried that Uchiha Shirsue would suddenly have a brain twitch, simply spoke out her thoughts. After all, most of the people in the Naruto world have brain bubbles, and she can see it. If Uchiha Shirsue uses Susanoo to be so blind, it will be a problem sooner or later. Uchiha Itachi's father opened a kaleidoscope in the TV version. I just don't know whether this world is a comic version or a TV version. Or a mixed version. C.C becomes. The cloud of smoke disappeared. Have you released the shadow clone? Uchiha Shisui looked at where C.C was before, and after a few seconds, walked out of the Konoha Police Department's office. On the surface, Naruto, who was sleeping on the bed, was actually sleeping on the body of Nine Tails in the inner world. He received the memory from the shadow clone, showing a calculating smile, and a shadow shrouded his immature face. My avatar is really talkative, and even told Uchiha Shisui about Susanoo. But, it got her too. It is a wonderful plan. Whether this plan is implemented depends on whether Uchiha Fuyue has opened the kaleidoscope writing wheel. If you let Uchiha Shisui have the eternal kaleidoscope and become Uchiha, the head of the clan. Must be fun, isn't it? Being able to use biotin unlimited times, she can make Uchiha Shisui come to Kyubi. Isn't it good to let the Nine Tails be immune to the manipulation of the Shaker's eyes? It's just that this guy Uchiha Shisui will play with me. What should I do if I remove the mill and kill the donkey? Thinking of this, Naruto dispelled this unrealistic idea. Chapter 15 Danzo's God Assist, 1/2. Mail sign early in the morning, Sasuke Uchiha was late for the ninja school. Divided by. The late Uchiha Sasuke sat on the seat with a heavy face. He didn't have the energy to dance in the past, and it was rare that he didn't dance in front of Naruto. It appears Uchiha. The clan was already preparing, and seeing Ertsuzi's worried appearance, he wanted to come to Uchiha. It has only been 2 days since the clan announced its separation from Konoha. After school, Sasuke Uchiha. He was very silent all day, no matter who he was with, he spoke very little, and most of the time he sat there in a daze, wondering what he was thinking about. Sasuke. Haruno Sakura looked at Sasuke Uchiha with concern, her outstretched hand stopped in midair, and called Sasuke's name, but got no response and stayed. Haruno Sakura walked out with a disappointed face. The little hamster that Naruto turned into was observing Uchiha Sasuke in the corner. When Uchiha Sasuke walked out, the little hamster twisted his little and followed, and ran in when passing the toilet. Shadow Clone Technique. Naruto let his shadow clone go home, while he followed Uchiha Sasuke. Uchiha Itachi would listen to Danzo. Most of the reason is because of Sasuke Uchiha. If Danzo used the second pillar to threaten Uchiha Itachi, then it would make sense why Uchiha Itachi suddenly slaughtered the entire Uchiha with the masked man Obito. Clan. Naruto followed Sasuke Uchiha. Lu ran to the lake. There was no one by the quiet lake, only Sasuke Uchiha stared blankly at the calm lake. Suddenly, a pebble fell into the lake, breaking the tranquility of the lake. Sasuke Uchiha gritted his teeth and threw the stones hard, as if he wanted to worry about himself. And threw it into the lake and sank to the bottom of the lake. Suddenly 2 ninjas in black appeared on both sides of Uchiha Sasuke, and Uchiha Sasuke fell softly to the ground. Sasuke Uchiha, the target is him, take it away. Just when the two were about to take Sasuke Uchiha away, an inconspicuous little hamster ran into them, bang. The smoke dissipated. She has pink wavy hair, a petite body and a beautiful face. A cold murderous intent in those beautiful brown eyes. Flashing past, the fingers gently touched the two of them. The two who reacted were about to fight back, but their bodies swelled up like a balloon, and the 7 orifices were lying on the ground bleeding, without breathing. The transformed Naruto came to Uchiha with Sasuke Uchiha. The residents of the clan, seeing the tightly closed gate, chakra condensed on his feet. Boom! The door was violently kicked open, and Naruto, who deliberately made such a big noise, was to attract the people from Uchiha. Soon someone rushed over, and it came. An unexpected person. What did you do to Sasuke? Uchiha Itachi, whose eyes became 3-wheeled Goyu, looked gloomily at the girl with pink wavy hair carrying Naruto. Uchiha Itachi did not see the presence of the forehead protection symbolizing Shinobu village on her body. The person you should ask is not me, but the 2 people who wanted to arrest him, and what did they want to do to him? Naruto turned Uchiha Itachi in annoyance. I raised his hand and threw Uchiha Sasuke at Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Itachi hugged Sasuke and loosened up when he saw that Sasuke just passed out. He said apologetically, "I'm sorry, I wrongly blamed you, thank you for saving Sasuke. It doesn't matter, I just happened to pass by." Naruto waved his hand and turned to leave. "Wait a minute, can you tell me what the two people who are going to arrest Sasuke look like?" Uchiha Itachi asked quickly when Naruto was leaving. "Those two people were wearing black clothes. They were killed by me. I just don't know if the bodies are still by the lake." "The man in black, by the lake, could it be him?" Uchiha Itachi frowned slightly. He had already guessed who shot Sasuke, but what he didn't understand was why he shot Sasuke, and what could catching Sasuke bring them. Used to threaten Uchiha clan. No. Was it used to threaten me? Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor Chapter 9. I really didn't expect to meet the younger brother Itachi, shouldn't that guy be in Umbu now? 3 generations gave him a holiday. Looking for the latest news from Uchiha. Gen's secret base, Danzo looked up at the 2 corpses and looked up. Next to the medical ninja. "'Cause of death. I don't know what kind of ninjutsu caused their internal organs to become muddy, but..." "Just what?" Danzo asked. "There are many marks on their bones that look like knife blades." "Okay, you go down." "Yes." The medical ninja left respectfully, and after walking out of the secret base of the root, the medical ninja took off the mask on his face and revealed it. A female face with glasses, she hides it. The thing, that was on those 2 corpses. Mold. Sample. Small wounds. Thinking of the ninjutsu created by Uzumaki Naruto who was brought to the root before, although she didn't want to think about it, she felt that the person who killed these 2 people was not Naruto. It must have a lot to do with Naruto. She is kind-hearted and naturally knows what would happen if she told Danzo about what she was hiding. In order to protect Naruto, she had to hide it, in order to do nothing. Lost, she secretly healed the wound. It's just that she didn't know that it was because of this that the suspicious Danzo no longer trusted her. The next day, she received Danzo's order and left Konoha, which also happened on the day she left Konoha. It's something that has spread throughout the ninja world. It was because Danzo pushed him. Uchiha Itachi, who had been sitting for hours in front of Sasuke's window in a coma, made his own choice. Uchiha. The clan suddenly announced its separation from Konoha. Each ninja village is a spy in Konoha. Time passed the news back to his ninja village. Uchiha Itachi, who was originally a Konoha spy, suddenly turned against the water. Not only did he tell Uchiha Shisui and his father all his promises with Konoha, but he also confessed why he wanted to prevent Uchiha from leaving Konoha. Finally, the conversation ended with Uchiha Fugaku's fist called Father's Love hitting Uchiha Itachi in the face. Naruto, who got the news from the strange crow of Shisui, had to sigh. Sound, Danzo is worthy of being a boss maker. How many villains in Hokage are because he has embarked on the path of villains? I have to say that Danzo did a really good job this time. Uchiha Itachi, who was originally from Konoha's side, was pushed back abruptly, and this wave of operations got full marks. Naruto hurriedly shared his inner joy with Kyuubi, and sat on Kyuubi's head with his stomach in his arms, laughing until tears flowed out of his eyes. Danzo did all the bad things, and finally did it. A good thing. However, I don't think he will be happy. Naruto thought of Danzong's angry look, and happily rolled around on Kuei's body. What could be more happier than knowing that Danzong was deflated? Of course the answer is no. Naruto sat on the head of the 9 tails and shook his feet. Next up is Uchiha. Can the clan leave the country of fire safely, and don't die on the way out of the country of fire? If Uchiha Itachi opened the kaleidoscope shaker, maybe Uchiha. There is a high probability that the clan will be able to leave the country of fire safely. However, casualties are inevitable, after all Uchiha. Not everyone in the clan is a genius, and it is estimated that the attack of the masked man Obito will also be inserted. Foot. In the original book, he and their Wuzi Itachi slaughtered Uchiha clan. Time and space pupil surgery, terrifying, really terrifying. Chapter 16 Nine Tails Transformation, Revision, 1/2. Male sign, it's so strange, Uchiha. The changes in the clan are so strange. The masked man, who appeared on the tree trunk like a ghost, looked at Uchiha, who was packing his luggage and preparing to leave Konoha, in the Uchiha station below through the eyes exposed from the mask. Clan. Isn't the plan as fast as change? It looks like a pitcher plant. Such a person poked his head out of the tree trunk, the open pitcher plant revealed the black and white yin and yang faces inside, and said this sentence in the form of the word solitaire. It's just a different way, they are going to die, as Uchiha. The price of the clan's betrayal of me, Madara Uchiha. After the voice fell, the masked man left the yin and yang face of Nepenthes and left. Uchiha. The clan, once was so powerful, but now it's just lingering and dying. The clan, should disappear into the long river of history. The pitcher plant closed its weird laughter and sank into the tree trunk. Elder brother. Uchiha Sasuke walked to Uchiha Itachi and tugged at Uchiha Itachi's sleeve. What's wrong? Sasuke. Uchiha Itachi looked down and saw Sasuke's face full of disappointment. Are we really going to leave Konoha? Sasuke Uchiha said in his eyes. He hopes to get the answer he wants from his brother. However, in the current situation, it is obviously impossible, and things are no longer in the hands of Uchiha Itachi. Uchiha Itachi opened his mouth, and the words that came to his mouth turned into words. Sighing, rubbing Sasuke's hair, Itachi nodded slightly. Konoha, it's no longer suitable for Uchiha. Clan survival, Sasuke, go and help mom pack up. Sasuke Uchiha nodded in disappointment and ran into the house. After all the packed luggage was sealed in the scroll, Uchiha. More than 200 people from the clan exchanged for Uchiha. Close of the clan, he walked towards the gate that left Konoha. When he came to the gate, the 3 generations of Hokage were there, and it seemed that he had been waiting for a long time. Can't Fuyue really think about it again? The 3 generations looked at Uchiha Fuyue, who was at the forefront. Even if it's not for Konoha, but also for your children, you have to let him follow you. Life? Konoha, there is no Uchiha. There is no place for the clan. 3 generations, I appreciate your kindness. However, I am not only Sasuke's father, I am also Uchiha. The clan's patriarch. Really? Then I wish you all the best. Good luck. The words have come to this point. The 3 generations are no longer blocking, and he is also unable to stop himself, just like he can't stop what Danzo is going to do next. Sample. He did everything he had to do, but Uchiha. The clan still insisted on leaving Konoha, so don't blame him for turning his face and not recognizing anyone. Dan, Uchiha. Once the clan walked out of Konoha's gate, they were no longer Konoha's people. No matter what happened to them, they had nothing to do with Konoha. Silk. Nothing to do. Uchiha. The clan has already left. Wait, I will find a chance to leave Konoha after I become a genin. Is there a problem? Naruto looked at Umbu, who appeared around him at an unknown time. Naruto Uzumaki, Lord Danzo wants to see you. Naruto looked at the Umbu surrounded him, no, to be precise, a member of Gen, and the corners of his mouth twitched. Wipe grimace. If you don't do anything, you will be taken to see Danzo again, that's enough. Really enough. I've had enough of Konoha. Enough of Danzo. Enough of Konohas. Cut. Oh. What is he trying to do to me? Aware of Naruto's strange aura, he spoke out to stop him. Uzumaki Naruto, you'd better not resist, or we will arrest you on the charge of betraying Konoha. Betraying Konoha? Ha. Then I'll betray Konoha as you said. Naruto covered his face and laughed frantically, and a violent red chakra emerged from her body, wrapped in a coat like a coat. On her. The gloomy wind blew on Umbu's faces, and the faces under their masks were very ugly. They never expected it, unintentionally. The words turned out to be the key to unlocking Naruto's rampage, and it also made her make a decisive decision to leave Konoha, and made a scene. Field. Kuwei, let's make a scene. Let's play. Ow. I've been waiting for a long time. Ninetales showed a hideous smile, and the red chakra was continuously injected into Naruto's body. Kyuubi's hatred for Konoha is not low, plus Naruto was hurt so badly by Danzo last time, Kwa's hatred for Konoha can be said to be deep in the bone marrow, and it has been waiting for Naruto's words. It's been a long time. The blood that had been silent for a long time suddenly became hot and excited. It's like a steam engine that hasn't been added to water for a long time suddenly starts. That long-lost feeling. This is what it feels like to be hot. Nine-tailed chakra wraps Naruto to form. Layer of fox-shaped chakra coat. A tail wagged behind Naruto's ass. Kuwei, you are so excited. Naruto felt the boiling emotions of the nine tails. But, it's not a bad feeling. Naruto grinned. The lips turned black, the teeth became sharper, the pattern of the cat's whiskers on the face exploded slightly, and the cute cheeks were a bit wilder. Because I've been waiting a long time. Sorry for keeping you waiting. Naruto, with your current body, the limit is 3 tails, and you can't use my chakra for a long time, otherwise it will cause an excessive burden on your body, understand? Nine Tails grinned and told Naruto like a mother. Naruto agreed casually. How could Naruto, who had been irritated by the root for a long time, care about these irrelevant things? All she has to do now is to vent the anger and hatred she has suppressed for a long time. The blood-red eyes with raised pupils looked at them with a strong murderous intent, and a cold murderous aura formed like a substantial cold wind blowing on their faces. What is this red chakra? Chakra actually formed a coat on her body. Naruto landed on all fours and looked at them with a hideous face, his fangs became sharper and roared under the influence of nine-tailed chakra. With a sound, the cannonball formed by chakra smashed Umbu, who had no time to dodge. Naruto rushed towards them, and the coat formed by the nine-tailed chakra seemed to have his own consciousness. As usual, he grabbed 2 Umbu and slapped them heavily. Up, tail. The sweep knocked all the remaining Umbu to the ground. Naruto stepped forward and took it off. Nanbi's mask, formed by nine-tailed chakra. With one hand, he opened his mouth, and after seeing the mark on his tongue, Naruto looked gloomily at Umbu who fell to the ground. Already, there is no turning back. The blood-red chakra tail stretched out like a candied hawse, penetrating the bodies of the unconscious Umbu people, leaving nothing behind. A living mouth. The mask is good, it's mine. The chakra covering his body returned to his body, and Naruto put on the mask of the members of Gen, with their blood-stained hands on the mask. He wiped away 5 bloodstains. It smells bad. Naruto frowned in disgust, and just about to take off his mask, he noticed that someone was coming. Naruto. Seeing the blood-stained mask on Naruto's face and the corpse of Umbu on the ground that belonged to the roots, Kakashi was shocked. What happened to make Naruto kill them and become so crazy? What? It's Kakashi. You're late. All these people were killed by me. Ha 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 ha. Naruto saw Kakashi tilting his head unexpectedly, opening his arms. Crazy, he laughed, took off his mask and threw it to the ground. Broken feet. Naruto, what happened? Why did Gen's people come back to catch Naruto? What happened that I don't know, or did Danzo still want to do to Naruto? Kakashi looked at Naruto seriously, hoping to get an answer from Naruto. However, Naruto, who had decided to leave Konoha immediately, had no intention of talking to Kakashi too much. They want to take me away, but I don't want to kill them. Naruto kicked the corpse on the ground indifferently. Kakashi, I'm leaving Konoha next, if you want to stop me, try it. The rich blood-red chakra wrapped Naruto's body and turned into. A bird broke through the roof, leaving Kakashi stunned in place. Chapter 17 Don't Stop Me, 1/2. Mail sign, Naruto. Kakashi, who came back, shouted Naruto's name, lifted the forehead that covered his left eye, and chased after the red bird flying in the air. Why? The teacher's child finally chose this path. What on earth happened? What happened to make the child have to choose to leave Konoha? Naruto, he's chasing after him. The eyes formed by the 9 tails through chakra were like small wingmen. In this way, he helped Naruto and saw Kakashi chasing after him. As expected. But what if Kakashi chased after him? I won't change what I decided. Besides, I killed so many Danzo's men. Even if the 3 generations have the heart to protect me, I'm afraid it's not because I have more than my heart. Insufficient strength. Besides, the 3 generations may not protect me. That old man put it plainly. A failed Hokage, so many dark and inhuman things happened in the shadow of Konoha, how would he know nothing? Really? Rachel. Before Naruto could say anything, he was frightened by Kakashi who suddenly rushed over. Jumping, I saw Kakashi's hands flashing with dazzling thunder at a fast speed. Flashed, severed wings of red flying birds. Kakashi, I said, don't stop me. Naruto's blood-red eyes stared fiercely at Kakashi who was standing in front of her. Naruto, tell me what happened, please. Uzumaki Naruto is a traitor Chapter 10. What happened? Ha. Go ask Danzo if you want to know that. Group possession. Kakashi was stunned for a moment, and Naruto suddenly made a move when he saw this, and Kakashi was knocked away by the fist formed by the 9-tailed chakra. Naruto continued to run in the direction of the Konoha gate, making seals as he ran. Shadow clone technique. The smoke dissipated, and dozens of Naruto ran in different directions. The difference was among them. There is a shadow avatar on the shoulders. The humble ladybug. Kakashi, who was knocked away, turned into a wooden stake, climbed up from the eaves, and looked at Naruto running in all directions. At time, he couldn't tell which was the body and which was the clone. Headache. Perhaps, it wasn't that Naruto left Konoha. A bad thing. Kakashi pulled down his forehead guard and casually asked. Follow in one direction. Youth Power Prelude. Boom. Naruto, who tried to rush out of the Konoha gate, was met by Mate Kai. Shenba reading book, kicked into smoke. The little ladybug took this opportunity to quietly crawl out from the gap under the Konoha gate, wiping the non-existent sweat on her forehead with her small claws as she crawled. Damn, is this also a shadow clone? The little ladybug that climbed out of the Konoha gate stuck out its tongue at the Konoha gate. Play hide and seek with Lao Tzu's shadow clone. Sudden. Only for Naruto who turned into a ladybug, giant feet that were no less than giant feet descended from the sky and stepped on her. Naruto lifted the transformation technique, and while the smoke had not yet dispersed, he transformed into a CC. His finger was pointing at the man's chest, but he was caught. With a palm on the chest, Chakra lost control and passively released the transformation. Blind eyes, no wonder. Naruto covered his chest, saw the man's white eyes, and understood why he had been discovered. In front of the white eyes, he became a ladybug. In his eyes, wouldn't he have become the brightest in the black and white world? A worm? You've already entered my gossip range, so you can capture it. Naruto Uzumaki. Soft fist technique 8 trigrams 32 palms. Cut. If you say anything, you will be captured. Didn't you call me? 9-tailed chakra formed outside Naruto. The layered coat, the acupuncture point that was pointed, was forcibly washed away by the 9-tailed chakra. The hand formed by the 9-tailed chakra holds Hinata. The ninja of the clan, work hard. Grip it, press it into the ground with only the head exposed, and then apply force. Pi, this time he didn't even show his head. As for whether he died or not, it depends on his luck. If he was found early, he might survive. If he was found late, he could only collect his body. Stepping on the trunk of the tree, jumping quickly between the trees. Art fire escape fireball. A huge fireball hit. Bang. The Naruto became. A little mouse ran over from under the fireball, and Naruto felt that the hair on his body was about to be burned. Sarutobi asthma. Naruto looked at the person who came out of the forest, touched the outer layer of his hair that had been roasted into curly hair, and frowned slightly at Asma Sarubi. Naruto Uzumaki obediently returned to Konoha with me, I don't want to be right. A child will do it. Asuma Sarutobi smoked with a cigarette in his mouth. Even though he said so, he still took out the chakra knife and put it on his hand, and the wind escaped chakra into it. Ha ha ha. Asuma Sarutobi, you are not too young, don't tell me jokes. Go back to Konoha with you. How Konoha treated me, Asuma Sarutobi, you and your father should know very well. This 3-generation Hokage is really competent. Naruto seemed to have heard the funniest joke, and looked at Sarutobi Asuma mockingly. If you want to take me back, beat me down. The premise is that you can beat me. 9-tailed chakra was formed on Naruto. Layer fox. Shaped coat with 2 tails behind her ass. Face swaying. Is the 9-tailed chakra. Sarutobi Asuma clearly understands his shortcomings in the face of Renzali. Continued fighting is not good for him, and he must fight quickly. Sarutobi Asuma figure. Flash came to Naruto, and the chakra slashed at Naruto's arm. Sudden. Mo Hong shadow came over, and Asuma Sarutobi held his sword in front of him with both hands, and the huge impact made him take a few steps back. It turned out that the tail behind Naruto seemed to have its own will. Attacked him. Naruto ran on all fours and rushed toward Sarutobi Asuma. Wind escape, the art of wind and dust. What dash? Naruto opened his mouth and roared. With a sound, the 9-tailed chakra scattered the whirlwind blown by Sarutobi Asuma, and flew toward Sarutobi Asuma with unabated power. Sarutobi Asuma waved his chakra knife and reluctantly cut the 9-tailed chakra in half. Feeling the pain in his arm, Sarutobi Asuma exposed. See wry smile. As expected of the 9-tails man Julie. Wind escape finger spear. Naruto raised his hand and used 9-tailed chakra to launch ninjutsu, and the power doubled. The red projectile came to Sarutobi Asuma in the blink of an eye. When Sarutobi Asuma raised his chakra to resist, he was in despair. The curtain took place. The chakra knife broke. The projectile with undiminished speed penetrated the body of Sarutobi Asuma and exploded behind him, and his back was cut by countless tiny wind blades. The piece was bloody. Looking at the comatose Sarutobi Asuma, Naruto picked up the chakra knife that Sarutobi Asuma had made, and slashed it at Sarutobi Asuma's neck. At that time, he stopped and dropped the chakra knife. In the end, Naruto did not kill Sarutobi Asuma, because she still remembered those years of chasing Naruto in front of the computer in her mind, and the blood red in her eyes gradually faded to a deep blue. Asuma Sarutobi thanked me for my love for Naruto in the past. Next time, I won't show mercy to the people of Konoha. After Naruto left, Konoha ninja arrived and left with the seriously injured Sarutobi Asuma, in the grass. A small ant turned into. The cloud of smoke disappeared. Shimura Danzo didn't know that he was just trying to prevent Naruto from being Uchiha. The people of the clan hypnotize and use the threat of being Konoha to try to lock her up, but unexpectedly, it is self-defeating, causing Naruto to defect to Konoha. Naruto, am I leaving Konoha? Who defected? I left openly. Author, yes, you turned into a little bug and left Konoha openly. Naruto, Fong Dun Jigun. In Naruto's house, the 3 generations of Hokage looked at the corpse of the Umbun ninja who belonged to the roots on the ground. Danzo. What did you do to Naruto? 3 generations of trembling hands took off the hat symbolizing Hokage on his head, and fell heavily to the ground. Where is Tuanzong? Let him come to see me. Nanbi appeared behind Sandai and knelt down on one knee. Report Hokage-sama. Danzo-sama is not in Konoha, he left Konoha with his direct troops. Report to Hokage-sama. Joinin Sarutobi Asuma is seriously injured. 9-tailed person jury escaped. Another. Nanbi appeared and said something that Sandai couldn't accept. How, cough cough cough. In the end, the 3rd generation is still old. After receiving such a shocking blow, he covered his mouth and coughed violently. He walked out of Naruto's house with his waist hunched over with the support of Umbun ninjas. 10 years old. Looking up at the head of the 4th Hokage on Hokage Rock in the distance. Watergate, is this the retribution? Chapter 18, Danzo Attacks, 1/2. Male sign in the inner world, Naruto pointed his toes and reached out to tear the seal on the door. Nine tails entangled Naruto and pulled her into the door. Approximately equal to or the image of approximately equal to or the image of. Naruto, what do you want to do? Release the seal. We made an appointment. After leaving Konoha, I will give you freedom. You must have been locked up for too long, Kyubi, right? Naruto looked at the nine tails with suspicion. Idiot. Am I caring about you? With your current body, you may not be able to withstand my power. Do you understand? Nine tails. He yelled at Naruto with a stomachache. What are you doing so loud? The saliva is sprayed on my face. Naruto wiped the saliva from his face. Disgusting face. Nine tails saw the disgust of the red fruit on Naruto's face, and the petrified in place. Naruto watched. Joe, who looked like she was hit, actually felt that this kind of Joe was a little cute, and climbed to the top of Joe's head and touched Joe's hair. I know you don't want me to die. Who doesn't want you to die? Hurry up and die. If you die, I will be free. Nine-tailed ears. Shaking, he immediately retorted, like a cat whose tail was stepped on, all nine tails stood up, and it was about to explode. Okay. This is what you said, I will return to Konoha immediately. When I return to Konoha, I will definitely be brainwashed into a mental retardation and become Konoha's obedient puppet. But don't worry, Nine Tails, I will unlock the seal before that, set you free. Naruto jumped off Kyubi and walked out while talking. The serious expression on his face didn't seem to be lying, as if he would really return to Konoha. Stop. I admit that I don't want you to die. Stinky brat. Nine Tails confessed that he was reluctant to let Naruto die. After all, no one could treat it as an equal existence. Most people either fear it or hate it, only Naruto follows. At first she looked at it as if she were watching an equal to her, not a monster. Naruto seems to know a lot of things, but this is irrelevant to the Nine Tails. If Naruto wants to say, he will naturally tell it, and the Nine Tails will not ask if he doesn't want to say it. He. Naruto hugged Joe's leg and rubbed it, with a bright smile on his tender face. I knew that Joe, you couldn't bear me. Stinky brat, you know that clearly, you have to let me explain it so clearly. Kyubi looked at Naruto helplessly, letting her rub against his leg. A smile appeared at the corner of his mouth, and there was tenderness in his eyes. Uchiha. Not long after the clan left Konoha, they came. On the grass, walk forward. A cave will lead to the Valley of the End. In the past, the creation of Konoha village, known as the Ninja, was the place where Senju Hazuma and Uchiha Madara died after a decisive battle. Uchiha. The place where the tribe is going is located at the junction of the country of the river, the country of rain and the country of fire. A mountain called Crow Mountain. Uchiha Shirsue's crow was caught from Crow Mountain. As Uchiha Shirsue's apprentice, Uchiha Itachi's crow naturally also came from Crow Mountain. Walk on the grass, all around. Everything was silent, and the chirping of birds that could be heard in the distance before disappeared, replaced by death. Such silence. Alert. An enemy is coming. Give priority to protecting the children. The child is Uchiha. The future of the clan must be protected. Uchiha Fuyue turned on the riding wheel and looked around vigilantly. Uchiha Katomi was protecting Sasuke by his side. Before becoming a housewife, Uchiha Mikoto was a ninja at the level of shinobi. Although he has not practiced for many years, his strength has declined, but he still has the strength above the Chunin, which is against the upper and the upper ninja. It won't be down for a while. Let us old bones protect the children. Uchiha. The old people in the clan came out and started 3 rounds of Goyu riding wheel eyes. As Uchiha. With the glory of Uchiha flowing in the blood of the clan, they have never given up their cultivation. Perhaps years of retirement have flattened their edges, but for the future of Uchiha, they will also tear the enemy's throat with those teeth that are about to be flattened. Ground. A tremor suddenly rose. Faced with earth walls, the cage formed trapped Uchiha. People of the tribe. Ninja Superbeast Pseudo Painting. The pale-skinned and expressionless ninja with empty eyes and no emotion threw out two huge picture scrolls, tigers, leopards, eagles, and various beasts drawn with ink drilled out of the picture scroll and obtained the entity, and rushed to Uchiha's clan. Fire Escape Dragon Fire Technique. X2. Uchiha Fuyue and Uchiha Itachi father and son quickly formed the seal, and the straight flame spit out of the mouth instantly evaporated the beast formed by the ink into steam. Today is the death of Uchiha clan. Danzo looked at the old people who were protecting the children, and the young Uchiha clansmen who were vigilant against them on the periphery. The old, the weak, the sick and the disabled are nothing to be afraid of. Go. Kill them all. Remember to keep their eyes. Yes. Danzo directly under the assassination unit. Hug up, even if you are at a disadvantage Uchiha. The people of the clan fought the ninja of Gen without the slightest fear. Group. The advantage of the wheel eye. When it is shown, illusion and ninjutsu can all be seen through by Sharingan, Uchiha. Those with the worst aptitudes in a clan are all turned on at the lowest level. Will hook Jade riding will eye. Seeing that the battle was at a stalemate, Danzo also joined the battlefield, and Danzo made a neat move. A face was dug out. The eyes of the Uchiha clansman broke his neck at the same time. Cruelly throwing down the corpse that lost his eyes, Danzo's practice aroused all Uchiha people's attention. Tuanzang looked indifferently. The second round of Goyu in the hand of the eye wrote the round eye, and then put it into his arms. Tuanzo. How dare you? Under Uchiha Shirshue's anger, his eyes naturally opened the kaleidoscope writing wheel and rushed towards Danzo. Uchiha Shirsue, your eyes, I accept them. Danzo said in a positive tone, looking greedily at Uchiha Shirsue's eyes. In order to avoid Uchiha Shirsue's illusion, Danzo closed his left eye and opened his right. Wind escape vacuum jade. Danzo inhaled sharply. With a big breath, the chakra in the mouth is like bullets/bombs. It spit out like a machine gun. Sample. Uchiha Shirshue's figure is dodging left and right, and Uchiha Shirsue, who has the name of stopping the water in an instant, not to mention that he has opened the kaleidoscope at this moment, and easily avoided Danzo's ninjutsu. Wind escape, vacuum wave.